Welcome on in, everyone, to the Central Committee stream. We got the holiday schedule right now, which means we're slacking a bit. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. This is the time between Christmas and New Year's is like limbo time. You were earlier for your Secret Sunday stream. So true. How am I doing? I should have communicated better with Fran about starting the stream earlier. That's what I should have said. That's a lesson for me. But I think it went well. I think you guys showed up, which was nice. Mike, what the fuck is going on with silver? I thought I bought it at the worst time. I think the dollar is being kind of rotated off of. That being said, we had a bit of a dip today in gold and silver and platinum. A bit of a dip. Actually, this is quite a dip. This is a big dip off of the absolute highs. I mean, it's still way up. I mean, $70 silver is crazy. I think a lot of people are selling some of their gold and silver for the end of the year. You know what I mean? Rumor is that a big major bank failed a margin call that was a big silver player, which I think was UBS. You think so? JP Morgan getting fucked on short silver positions. Ah, okay. Mike, do you think the Cleveland Browns are the strongest team in the NFL right now? No. But I am an Aaron Rodgers doubter. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I despise Aaron Rodgers. I think he sucks shit. I think every team that picks him is a hack team and in deep shit and has no leadership in the managerial level. Like, anytime someone hires Aaron Rodgers, their team is in shambles. Like, it's a shambolic move. He is locker room poison. He is a fucking moron, and he's old. So that's not gonna build up your team. It's a bad sign. It's a bad fucking sign. And the Steelers losing to the Browns is just embarrassing. Like, legitimately, this is like losing to your little brother in GoldenEye. Like, just embarrassing. Mike Tomlin, how do I think about Mike Tomlin? I think the problem with Mike Tomlin is that he is competent. And the reality of sport is that competent doesn't win championships. You need somebody that has some sort of angle. And I think Tomlin is just, he's gonna put a 10-6 team out every fucking year, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's nice to win more games than you lose, and that's outstanding. At the end of the day, though, it keeps your team kind of trapped in this mid limbo because you don't have the way the NFL is structured. You want to have some bad years so you can pick up some of the top talent off the draft. And if you never have truly bad years, you never really find those franchise players to build around. And the team doesn't have a QB. And the NFL is really the QB league. Do you have a good QB? Yes, then your team is good. That's actually what the NFL is, the QB league. Like, that's all it is. So, all right, what are we talking about today? Mike was right about Atrioc. Wow, what a surprise. I was right about Atrioc. Isn't it kind of amazing how I can just see the things coming and then I call it just early enough that a bunch of chatters can go, this is the time to disagree with Mike. This is the time to disagree with Mike. Mike's finally wrong. And then 3 days later, I'm proven completely correct, like without a shadow of a doubt. Isn't that fucking hilarious? So whenever you find yourself going, Mike's doing, he's doing bad takes. He's doing bad takes this time. I know he's wrong. He's losing it. Just wait. Instead of typing, instead of sending messages to my mods, just wait. Just wait. You'll see. And you'll see. We left the Atrioc deepfake cancellation way too soon. We need to bring that fire back. Guys, do you think that he's a good person? Like, legitimately. Do the giggles trick you? Like, how many times does somebody need to show you they're a fucking snake before you're like, okay, this guy's probably a snake? You know what I mean? And, this, again, many people will say that I'm cruel or too mean or whatever. And the thing is, I'm not. I just call it as I see it, and I don't sugarcoat. That's not being mean. I'm not saying anything that's uncalled for. I'm just going off of what he's done and who he is. And like, I'm sorry, but to basically get caught making AI porn of your friends, and then also having that on your open in your tabs. That's another thing that's fucking insane. It's like he not only did it, he also had it open in tabs live on stream. And then you look at politics and go, I'm going to get into politics now. And how am I going to get into politics? I know I'm going to triangulate between Hassan and Asmongold to make money. Like, that's just, I'm sorry, that's reptilioid behavior. It's not, I'm going to look into politics and go on a journey with you and try to find the right answers. It's, I'm going to triangulate myself for a marketing opportunity. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's legitimately mentally ill and wrong and like evil. It's fucking evil to say I'm going to triangulate myself on politics for money as opposed to let's go on a journey of truth seeking together. What kind of evil mentality do you have to think about the problems of life and death that way? It's actually insane. It's just fucked up. We don't know who he was watching AI porn of, just to clarify, not trying to defend him. We know that he was going onto a website that had streamers, right? Like it was a streamer AI porn website. Anyway, I mean, I'm sorry to go off on a rant here, but it's just like, I was willing to overlook the AI shit and go, you know what? You know, everyone makes a horrible mistake. We shouldn't be judged forever by our horrible mistakes. You know, he apologized. It is what it is. But then, I'm sorry, it gets renewed when you start talking about politics in this greedy way, this sociopathic way. That's just weird. I'm sorry, it's weird and malicious and fucking exploitative, and it makes me feel like you're a bad person fundamentally. I may disagree with people on issues, and you may have a different view or you may have a different worldview. I don't think that means you're an evil person. But if you're like, I'm going to find out my worldview based on what makes me the most money, that's fucking vile. That is vile. And here he is spreading this like right-wing fascist propaganda against America's Somali community because there are scammers in it. I don't know. I'm going to inform you something. The president of the United States is a white man and he's a fucking scammer. But nobody's targeting white men as all scammers, and we're not all receiving punishment for shit we didn't do. The Gavin interview odd because it made a lot of sense. The reason why Gavin Newsom went with Atrioc, even though Atrioc is basically the same size streamer as me on Twitch, is because he knows that he is a fucking sellout. That's it. They have no interest in talking to somebody who has any kind of thoughts. They want somebody who is going to be interested in the promotion of himself for the purpose of promoting himself. He doesn't give a shit about any specific idea or cause. All right, let's watch the Atrioc. You guys showed the part where Hassan changed his mind, but I want to see the beginning. Hassan watches, you know, we're doing a Hassan reacting to Atrioc video because this is important to understand.
Bent out of shape because you're owned, because you want, you want mass fraud to be conducted. Anyway, never mind. Don't watch this video. Most of it is great, but the beginning is, as I suspect, he did not watch the Dick Shitley video. No, I will be watching Atrioc's video where he basically says, I guess that the stupid video that we just watched and carefully went through piece by piece to identify if there was any new claims being made or if there was any evidence actually had any real, like, I want to see what he thought of the video. I suspect he didn't actually watch the video because I don't think Atrioc is a stupid, okay? I don't think he is that. I don't think he's a stupid. So I will be shocked if he actually gives any praise to Nick Shirley. But I suspect it's partially because he didn't actually watch the video and partially because the video did really well. And he wants to present it as like this bipartisan argument because everyone has to be fucking fence sitting on the internet. They can't just outright be like, hey, this guy.
No, we don't have to be fence sitting on the internet. He is a algorithm slop chaser who doesn't believe in anything and most importantly doesn't know anything. And if you're going to get into politics and conversations, Atrioc, you may think you can know nothing because you see people like Asmongold doing it or Destiny doing it, but I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not going to let it slide. So let's get it going. Can't wait to go through the Atrioc video.
Who's fucking drooling half the time, who is not even functionally literate, who can't even craft sentences together, is actually a fucking moron who is just leaning into the most bottom of the barrel racialized propaganda with no.
What did I not spell? Is it at Atrioc? Is it at Atrioc? Oh, it's I put IOC. Oh, I see. Oops. I don't know how to spell this made up fucking word. Who gives a shit? Atrioc. Okay. Who gives a fuck? It's a made up word for an internet personality. Who gives a shit?
Evidence whatsoever. We can't fucking have that because swagged out white boys and quirked up white boys gotta have their fucking feelings and their racialized opinions satisfied. You gotta just always act like anytime there is a fucking dickhead white guy running around being like, these fucking Somalians.
Mike, he didn't even watch the video, just like 30 seconds, then turned it off. I feel like him and chat make it seem like it's a good thing he's too charitable. At least Kyle shows that he shouldn't. LOL thinks Hassan thinks that essentially having too much of a good thing. It's not a good thing to be naive. Okay. Here's my opinion. I'm glad that the biggest leftist is charitable because it means he's charitable to me. I'll be completely honest. Okay. I'm glad that Hassan is charitable, right? I'm glad that the biggest leftist is seen as charitable. That's nice. That's great. Okay. However, it doesn't mean I need to be. So I will say what needs to be said, and Hassan can be charitable. And if it turns out that I was too harsh and Hassan was right to be charitable, I'll change my mind and be like, you know what? Looks like Hassan was right about that guy and I was wrong. It hasn't happened yet, but eventually I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Eventually, I'm sure it will. However, I'll just keep talking about these people as they are, whether it's Moist Critical, whether it's Asmongold. By the way, I've been saying Moist Critical, Asmongold, Atrioc, all these guys suck shit for a long time. And I ate a ration of shit for it. But you know what? I'd rather be right. And the other thing is, like, people could be charitable in their spaces, but in my space, I don't want you guys to be stupid around me. You can be charitable in Hassan's stream, and then you can be honest in my stream. And it's a fucking, you don't have to go over to Hassan's stream and say, Mike thinks you're wrong about this, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that. You could just know that I have a different opinion. It's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions. I'm allowed to say Atrioc is a shill for the Democratic Party establishment who sees politics as a way to get clout and doesn't care about the truth of the matter, and his entire approach to politics is morally bankrupt, algorithm farming, which is why he falls for right-wing slop like every other liberal. And that's just the way it goes. And Hassan's allowed to be like, I know him and he's a nice guy, right? Like, he's allowed to do that. Do I get more Mike charitability if I upgrade my sub? Yes. Yes. You may not be able to buy my opinion, but you can buy charitability.
They're actually up to no good. Let me see their children. We have to sit there and be like, well, are there 800,000 views on this? Well, maybe he made some good points. Let's take a look.
Massive fraud scandal unfolding in Minnesota right now, primarily among the Somali community of Minnesota, dealing with millions, if not billions of dollars of taxpayer money funneled into things like luxury vacations.
I want you to understand something, chat, that there has been trillions of dollars stolen from the PPP program, including from streamers who took PPP loans, and we're doing nothing about it, right? Like, and I'm not saying, by the way, I will be honest with you, I believe in the death penalty for this kind of shit. You know, so like, you know, let's just get off the bat. Like, I believe in extreme punishment of stealing money that should be going to children and homeless people and things like that. I think if you are stealing money like this, life in prison, extreme punishment should be part of it. I also don't believe we should be doing public-private partnerships basically at all. The government should be doing the programs directly. And if they pay money to somebody, there should be an extreme vetting. They actually get stuff back for it. Like, I believe corruption should be rooted out, like, harshly. I think the beginning of Atrioc's video definitely sucked, but he does talk about the PPP loan at the end and says that is a bigger deal. Oh, that's good.
Luxury cars and massive stacks.
Okay, all of this is irrelevant to the Nick Shirley video, for the record, okay? This is real. This is a real thing that happened. And you know how they cracked this case open? Not by getting a fucking random YouTuber to go around and yell at random Somali people in Minneapolis, okay? This was a multi-year investigation. A multi-year investigation that started under the Merrick Garland Department of Justice, okay? So just understand, he's correct on this. This fraud is real.
Of cash sent overseas. Now, I want to give credit here. The person who really blew this story up on social media and YouTube is this young guy, Nick Shirley. Here's him right now at one example we'll talk.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, Atrioc is just, he should not be elevated. I mean, before I was negative against him because of ideology, and now I'm against him because he's actually incompetent. Like, ideology was the first warning sign, and now we're moving over to competence. This story was blown up on social media by this guy. Who gives a fuck? The real investigation took place by Joe Biden's Department of Justice, showing that Democrats are investigating fraud when it does occur. Which, why am I even saying this? Why am I even saying this? Because it's necessary to push back against lies that are being used to target the Somali community. Why? Because they're standing up to Trump. Here's Atrioc helping the fascists spread propaganda against the Somali community. Now, should all the people who committed fraud go to jail? Oh, they should go to prison. I am not, like, I think people don't understand that as far as I'm concerned with things like public corruption, I'm a tanky. I think that if you do public corruption, you should be whacked. And when I say whacked, I mean thrown in jail for a very long time. I think all your money should be taken. It should never, ever, ever be tolerated. Like, people should be shitting themselves about getting caught being corrupt.
Which is a so-called learning center in Minnesota that was billing the government to do learning for kids.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government.
By the way, it's not within the government. This is the other thing. This is the programs that conservatives and centrist Democrats love, which is, we don't hire government teachers. We don't build government daycares. No. We hand piles of cash to nonprofits and then assume it's all going to be taken care of. This is privatization. This is centrism. This is Atriocism. This is how the Atrioc thinks the government should operate. The market is really efficient, according to Atrioc, and we should just give money to nonprofits and they'll figure it out. That's the California model. That's the Atrioc model. We could call it the Gavin Newsom model if you want to be clear on it. This is the Gavin Newsom model. That's why they can't build a goddamn high-speed rail in California, because they do a model like this. We don't have a government railroad company. We have public-private partnership. It's why the Pentagon costs $1 trillion and half of the military cannot make repairs on equipment. It's why we buy billions of dollars of tanks and then put them in a fucking boneyard. It's because it's a public-private partnership, and the only thing that people care about is making money off the government, not about services actually being effectively administered.
Population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet
This is a separate story. Okay, so here's the thing. If you actually watch this video, just this video alone, I would assume that this kid has a learning disability and he's going to the Learning Center. Okay? No disrespect. Get mad at me if you want. You'd be like, oh, you're being ableist. But, like, he just genuinely can't speak. Okay? So if I saw this video in broad daylight without any other fucking context, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. This is his first video that he's ever done. He's trying to do a YouTube channel and he's going to the Learning Center. Okay? I'd be like, that's tight. Congratulations.
they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out.
Not a great look. Not a great look. And
my guess is that person's already being indicted. My guess is that person's already being indicted and the center's been shut down. Like, it's not like he discovered it's not like he did investigative journalism and found the center. It's also the holidays. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there that this guy did not uncover Leering Center. Yes, it got shut down in 2024. It's a restaurant now. Is that true? Could you link me?
in the video, he goes around with this. It's actually a pretty insane tag team of like a seemingly clout goblin zoomer and like this old guy David here who's like got all the files and paperwork from 10 years of tracking this.
I swear,
and their combination is actually.
I gotta be honest. The Atrioc giggle is grating to me. Do people like it? Do people like the Atrioc giggle? Because it's fucking grating. What's funny?
Beautiful, and they go around and investigate all these different buildings.
Come on, man. There's 0% chance he actually watched this. He just knows that the story. I know. You want to know something? I know what went through his mind, because the same thing that's going through his mind when he made this fucking video is the same thing that went through my mind. At first thought, because I know that there was already prior investigations that were conducted that found a shit ton of fraud. Okay, a shit ton of fraud. You immediately went, oh, here we go again. There's probably some fucking veracity to these claims. Okay. But just like, you know, do your due diligence. You didn't have to fucking say, oh, this is a beautiful investigation. There was no investigation. He just fucking ran around talking about how much money these facilities were getting while simultaneously yelling, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Like he's doing a fucking Eric Andre skit.
That daycare got shut down for child negligence. Okay, so he's saying like, oh, I discovered that it's being paid. But in fact, it was already shut down by other government investigators.
Taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday. Children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children.
We fact checked first. If you mess with, hit that follow button. What the hell is first? The reason why you don't see any kids there on a midday is because they're permanently. We wonder why you show nobody to read it, but you literally blurred it out. And because they're a bad daycare center. I mean, if you was in July, see that all the violations time. Believe that paper, their violations it up, and if you see the citation, it's about sanctioning and removing license again, and also why they only have star. I would also like to add that it was the Trump and HS the axe here. There is no reports that anything. In other words, push a false narrative.
Here in Minnesota,
I think he's trying to say that the fraud is like, it's so funny for like government officials to find these do the investigations because that's what we pay them to do. That's good. Uncover fraud, and then some fucking incompetent Zoomer conservative propagandist makes a slop video that goes viral, and then Atrioc is like, wow, such amazing investigative work by these two.
I know Atrioc is not like a racist person at all. He's not. He just wanted to probably be first to market, and he didn't do his due diligence in this situation because it ties back to what he saw.
He just wanted to be first to market, so he doesn't need to actually have. This is what I was disagreeing with the chat about on CoffeeZilla. Is I don't mind people being fast. All right, like I understand that, right? Like you need to be fast. That's part of why I fail, is because my YouTube videos, I don't post them for a couple days and they're old. I need to post the YouTube videos the same day I do live streams on the things. Like I need to be faster. Like I get it. But when I post a video, I want to make sure that there's nothing in it that's incorrect, because there's a difference between saying something live and making a minor mistake versus posting a video. So, you know, when editors go back through and they make sure there's nothing that's factually wrong in it, or they put in supporting information, that's what I try to do so the video holds up, right? And if the video is wrong, I'll edit it or take it down. Like that's the way I look at it, right? When I said, if I had millions of dollars from YouTube, if I was getting paid 50 grand a video, you're goddamn right that I would have people that would be editing same day and fact checking same day. And I wouldn't just do this, well, I don't know, a hand wave bullshit. Okay. I would hire a fact checker, because if I'm making $50,000 or $20,000 a video, I can hire someone and pay them $1,000 a video to make sure it's all fact checked and correct. And a lot of the chatters were like, Mike, I can't believe that you were saying CoffeeZilla should know what probable cause is when he makes a video that gets 3 million views in 20 hours. Oh man, I can't believe you're being so mean to CoffeeZilla. I wasn't being mean to CoffeeZilla. I'm saying that you should have higher standards than this, because this is replacing traditional journalistic media. So if people are going to make journalistic videos or comment on journalism, they need to have their shit together, especially if you're making millions.
As he also brought up, no, he's not more right-wing than I think. Stop. It's not. Shut up. I'm telling you exactly what it is. It's an algorithm play, and he didn't have time to go through the fucking 40-minute video, probably. I'm giving him, your benefit of the doubt card has been revoked. Okay.
Yo, Mike, this isn't even about journalism. What do you mean? Of course it is. And people think it's like, oh, Mike is jealous of. I want you to understand something, chat. I want you to understand something, chat. I am not a greedy person. I am doing very well in life according to my goals and objectively, okay? I do not measure myself against other creators and go, oh my God, I'm not doing as well as CoffeeZilla. I'm so jealous. I don't think like that. I literally do not think like that. I think that's fine. What I get mad at is whether the videos are shit or not, okay? That's what bothers me. So anytime you try to attack my credibility by saying I'm jealous, I'm doing very, very, very well. I do not get jealous of people that are doing even better than me because I think that's insane to be jealous. All right. All my debts are on time. I'm current on rent. I'm paying down my student loans. I'm saving money and I have health insurance. I'm not jealous of and I can go out to eat when I want. And I have a computer to play video games. My life is great. All right. There ain't nothing more that I want right now other than I'm saving to try to get a house one day. Okay. That's the thing I'm focused on. Saving to try to get a house one day. Building up my credit score. I have 64 gigs of RAM and a 4090. I'm pretty fine. Okay. I'm going to be okay. So 4090 broke boy. Yeah, I didn't get a 5090, but I probably should have, huh? That's going to be like the peak card. That's going to be like the peak card for all time, isn't it? Living in California and having money. I mean, let's just say that I am somebody who is on the treadmill of I shouldn't have moved to California yet. I honest to God should have stayed in Pennsylvania for another 2 years and then moved to California with more money. Like, because California is way too fucking expensive. It's way too fucking expensive. And by the way, I didn't even, you know, I personally don't care where I live. I'll be honest. I could move to North fucking Dakota. Maybe not North Dakota. I honestly am surprised. I don't know why. I mean, I know why streaming is so big in LA, but I think it's crazy. Streaming should be in Chicago. Like, if Twitch wasn't fucking cringe, they would move their headquarters to like Chicago or something. Because the reality is that living expenses are the hardest thing about making streaming work. You should go to a place where you get the most bang for your buck. And the place where you get the most bang for your buck in this country is Chicago. Or like Pittsburgh or Philly, I guess. You should not, why the fuck are you in San Francisco? It's so cringe, man. It's so fucking cringe. We're big tech company, guys. We gotta be in San Francisco. It's such nerd shit. It's like, nah, dude, get out of here. Most bang for the buck is actually Montreal. That's in Canada, sir. Anyway, Cincinnati supremacy. Are you kidding me? You're not even the best city in Ohio. You're not even the best city in Ohio. Cincinnati supremacy. Jesus Christ. Cincinnati is the child. It's like if Ohio and Kentucky were cousins, Cincinnati is their child. God, I just came up with that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I just came up with that. All right, let's keep going.
That are supposedly, you know, offering learning to kids or food or daycare or autism preparedness. And
he's right-wing in the sense that he's giga.
I'm a white guy, so my favorite city in Ohio is Columbus. And Columbus knowers what I mean. Okay, like Columbus is like, imagine if you had Pittsburgh, but you just like you demoted it in every measurable way. You know what I mean? Like on every, like Pittsburgh is just much better than Columbus. Columbus is like if Pittsburgh got hit with a suck a bit more in every area way. Columbus is Pittsburgh minus Permanes? No. Pittsburgh is a quadrillion. I'm sorry. But like Columbus is the rank 1 thug and Pittsburgh is the rank 100 like mob boss. There is not one area where you can go, yeah, Columbus has got Pittsburgh rinsed in this. It doesn't exist. Black guy in Columbus here definitely caters to pierogi eaters. I like pierogies. Although, is that a slur for white people in Ohio? Pierogi eaters? Holy shit, that hits so right, because it's true. I have pierogies in my freezer right now. That hits so well. Yo, I just got clocked. That seems like an anti-Polish slur. I think pierogies, we all like pierogies in Central Europe. I think everybody likes a pierogi in Central Europe. Pierogi is like, it's like the pierogi is the food of the border between Central Europe and Eastern Europe. What the fuck is that? I'm a POC. I don't eat unseasoned food. It's like, it is a mashed potato dumpling is the best way to describe it. It's very good. It's very good. And it has, you could really vary the texture of it, and it's good. It's good pan fried. It's good deep fried. It's very good. But it is a dumpling for white people. That's really the best way to put it. It is ruthlessly unseasoned. That is correct. It's a nice food. Mike, I thought you were a white people slur knower. No, I didn't even. I'm putting that in my sack of anti-white slurs. I'm putting that in my my satchel of anti-white slurs. My uncle called them the Polish samosas. Yes, they are inferior samosas. That's true. That is a very good. That's a very good point. They really are inferior samosas, but they're very good because samosas tend to have like that crispy, like the dumpling like container. I guess the wrapper has this kind of like. How would you describe that? It's almost like, it's like not quite ravioli. It has more bite. It's almost more like, it's kind of like the way a pretzel has like that outer coating. Pierogi has like that outer bite. You know what it is? It's like the same method that you do when you make a big soft pretzel. You know what I mean? There's like a skin. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Up, dude, but he's not a right winger in the sense that he's conservative traditionally. Exactly. He's fucking gigalib. There's no way that he thinks it's appropriate. And I'm sure he'll bring up similar points that I did later in the video. And the only reason why he's like pumping this fucking freak's video.
The mods are right. Libs are racist. He's right.
Tying it back to the
He's
actual
right. The mods
conspiracy,
are going crazy.
the actual credible accusations that turned into convictions with the welfare fraud that took place. That's the only reason. He should have done his due diligence and not promoted the video that got a fucking billion views being like, where are the children? Where are the children? Why are Somalis exceptionally violent? But
there's no kids, and they're all charging the government large amounts of money. So I respect a lot the work of this duo and what they did. There's parts of the video I don't like when they have AI generated Sora videos of black people throwing money in the air in luxury cars. I think it sends the wrong message.
Okay, never mind. Where are the videos? Where are the parts of the video that he liked? I need to understand. I need to understand what the parts of the video that he liked. Was it when he went to the medical plaza and was like, why are there so many places? Why are there so many medical facilities in this medical plaza? That's not exactly. Did Atrioc like that when he was when the guy was saying like this doesn't work from a market competition perspective when referencing a medical plaza? So how is he different than the chatters wondering why the windows are blacked out? It's not. He's not. Never mind. He got filtered. If he actually watched the video, I couldn't believe that he would get filtered like this.
But the core journalism of actually going to investigate was great, and I really enjoyed it. So, listen, let's back up here. When it comes to government
Brother,
fraud,
what the fuck? Oh my God. 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 The reason why I was engaging in maximum amounts of copium, immediately proven wrong. Please apologize to chat. I apologize, chat. The reason why I fucking was engaging in maximum amounts of copium is because I think Atrioc is a smart person. Okay? I think he's a smart person.
Unfortunately, the word smart has been degraded. The word smart has been degraded, where now it's because people caught on to the idea that somebody calls you nice, they're kind of like sneak dissing you. If they're like, oh, you're nice, I like that, he's a nice guy. Whenever you say, oh, someone's a nice guy, it's a sneak diss because their personality is so boring that you can't come up with anything that distinguishes them. So you say they're nice, and so people have kind of figured that out and go like, oh, you don't want to be the nice guy. It's now like it's now wrapped around to be an insult, right? Nobody wants to be the nice guy anymore because everyone knows that you just say that when the person has no personality. Now we've started to do that to smart. Smart is just a word that has no real meaning. It just means I kind of like the guy, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, obviously, in what way is Atrioc smart? Please be specific. Does he have good verbal skills? Does he know a lot about history? Is he have a lot of experience with like engineering or math? Is he educated in philosophy, literature? Does he write poetry? Like, what's going on? Like, what makes Atrioc smart? He's really good at directing AI porn editors. Okay, he didn't direct. He put a prompt and maybe uploaded a picture of one of his friends. Like, I don't know which one it was. I don't think that's smart.
could not believe that he would watch that whole thing and go, this is real journalism. That has the hallmark of Tyler Oliveira style commentary. It blows my fucking mind. I genuinely think that there is a different frequency that some people tune into. I think there's a different frequency people tune into where they are not sufficiently scrutinizing random guys who just claim to be apolitical, okay? Like in their minds, without like all of this like immediate evidence over and over again, without them just straight up being like, without someone straight up being like, I'm a communist, I'm a socialist, I'm a Marxist over and over again, right? They just don't understand when someone has like a political perspective, or maybe they're too stupid, but they're still playing a role in a political agenda. I genuinely think a lot of people on the internet, when someone says that they're non-biased or they're objective and they're simply trying to arrive at the truth, people just go, oh, that's right. That is the truth. That's literally what they're doing. Yeah, it's like Tim Pool shit.
By the way, that was my path into the far left, is that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to figure out what is right and what is wrong, what is correct and what is incorrect, what policies seem to work, what policies seem not to work. How did those policies come about? And I studied the history of how policies got enacted. And I became someone on the far left because I realized that they had the best account for why the world is the way it is. That their movements are the ones that achieved everything that we think is good in society. And the left is the only one that has a coherent plan or path for the future to make things even better. I became a left winger through experience with reality and the powers that be. And I saw through what centrist and right-wing organizations are all about, which is protecting the status quo and feeding more money to the rich. So I didn't become a leftist because I was a born leftist. I was not raised as a leftist. If anything, I was raised as a military conservative. And it is through life and education that I arrived at my far left position. I understand conservatism better than conservatives do. All right. I've read Oakeshott. I've read Hume. I've read John Stuart Mill. I've read Locke. I've read Adam Smith. I've read Mises. I've read fucking who else did I read? That's a right winger. It was a dipshit. Steiner or whatever his fucking name is. Like I've read fucking Schopenhauer. I've read, who else would I say that's important to read on the right? Of Nietzsche, obviously. I have not read Ayn Rand. I'm sorry, it was dumb as fuck. Ayn Rand, I'm sorry. I'm not reading her overstuffed novels that she jacked off to. Like, what the fuck are you I'm not reading Ayn Rand. Get the fuck out of here. And I've also read The Economist too. I've read Milton Friedman. I've read, what's that stupid popularizer on the right? God damn it, he's such a dumb fuck. I can't remember. It's not important. Yeah, Thomas Sowell. Thank you, Ed Doctor. Thomas Sowell. Ugh. You know every economist. It's so funny. I've read Keynesian economics. I know what they say. I know what their philosophies are. I know what they believe. I've also read Schmidt. I've also read some other people. Like, I know what the fascists say. I know what the fascists believe. It's dumb. And so I didn't become a left winger because it just morally appealed to me. No, I investigated politics thoroughly. I investigated philosophy thoroughly. I already said Hayek. I investigated these ideas. I believe what I believe because I know what centrists and right-wingers believe, and it's dumb.
You know what I mean? Until you have found yourself over many, many years consistently proving that you're right-wing, there are a lot of people who hear you go, I'm actually unbiased, I'm actually a centrist, and they go, that's right, he probably is.
You always lump Hume with the right-wingers, but you mean Hobbes? He's still an academic debate of whether Hume was right-wing. I've also read Hobbes. Leviathan is one of the most influential books for me. I actually think Hobbes is the best right-winger. You could actually argue he was a like if I will die on the hill that Hobbes is not actually as right-wing as people say. That's the tanky in me coming out. I'm a Hobbes enjoyer. I think Hobbes is the best but you know, he was writing in a situation where if you didn't say the king is sovereign, you'd get killed. So, you know, I think I think Hobbes is actually really interesting. And so, you know, so I like Hobbes. Now, I'm not saying I agree with him. I'm just saying I liked his philosophy. Like, I respect Hobbes is what I should say. Of all the right wingers, I respect Hobbes the most. Because he's got some bangers, okay? He's got some bangers in there. I think Locke sucks shit. I think Locke is dumb as fuck. I think Locke is actually embarrassingly bad. Rousseau washes Locke. Wasn't Hobbes' whole thing a justification of centralization of power in government? It's more, you have to know the social and historical context of the English Civil War and basically how, what Hobbes is basically saying is that you need government. He is like a foundational philosopher of political philosophy. He was basically just saying we need to have government. That's basically his argument, is that government is necessary for human thriving. That's his point. Now, exactly what form of government that takes, he is ambivalent on. Although he wrote in a context where the king was reasserting sovereignty, so, you know, he said the king is good. It's good to have a king, basically. But he also wrote about democracy as well. So, but basically his argument was humanity needs government to thrive. That's basically the point that Hobbes makes. That's the fundamental distillation of his point. What about Kant? I'm a Kant non-enjoyer. I'm not a Kant enjoyer. I don't like Kant. I think of Kant as the ultimate midwit. It's the midwit philosopher. I like Rawls is interesting. I like Rawls. Rawls is my favorite liberal because you could also interpret Rawls to mean socialism. There's a socialist interpretation of Rawls, which I think Rawls actually started pushing at the end of his life. I'm a Rawls enjoyer. Rawls is my favorite liberal. Hobbes is my favorite conservative. I say you're quick to lump Hume with reactionaries. I know, because I just don't like him. Am I allowed to not like him? Have you read Gabriel Rockhill's new book? No. All right. Anyway, we've been talking a lot. LOL. Kant is incredibly complex. LOL. Midwit. We're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on. I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole today. Because there is value from Kant. I actually do think there's value from him, which is why I said that he was the midwit's favorite instead of saying he sucks. I think he's okay. He's fine. I mean, you definitely should. You have to study him. It's like mandatory. It's like Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Like when somebody says their favorite playwright is Shakespeare, it's not that that's a wrong opinion. It's just like a midwit opinion. You know what I mean? Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I like Shakespeare myself. But it's like my favorite playwright is Shakespeare and my favorite band is the Beatles. It's like, okay. And my favorite philosopher is Kant. It's like, okay, well, it's not that you're wrong on any of those things, but it's okay. It's the matcha latte of takes. Can you explain the effects of Israel recognizing Somaliland? They're doing it so that they can try to form an outpost to contain the Yemeni, the Houthis in the Red Sea, so that they're not as vulnerable to blockades as they were during the more active parts of the Gaza genocide. That's why they're doing it. Anyway, let's get back to Atrioc. We got off track.
By a centrist. And it actually kind of makes me reconsider.
I like it, by the way. It's so funny because everybody, if you like me, you're going to take my takes on like the shit I'm spewing out right now about various philosophers and stuff. Don't take it too seriously. I'm just doing it for comedy. Don't take it too seriously. If we sat down and had a real conversation on philosophy, I wouldn't be having takes like this. I'm just saying stuff because it's funny to me. And real philosophy enjoyers know what I'm saying. They know it's a joke. They get that it's a joke. What socialist books would you recommend other than Marx, Engels, Mao? Okay. I'm rereading. Hold on. I told you this. Chat, I'm so tilted. On Saturday, I was reading my Antonio Gramsci, and I put it on the coffee table, and then Vio was like hanging stuff up with double-sided tape, and she put the double-sided tape on my book. You see a problem here. So I'm going to try to extract it without ripping the cover, but I think we're cooked. Why you would put this on the book instead of the gigantic table, I don't know.
Commentary, I feel like that's my biggest mistake. I should have just constantly fucking promoted the same positions that I promoted while saying I'm a centrist. I'm unbiased, I'm a centrist. Like everybody views themselves as like everybody views like the golden mean. They misunderstand the golden mean, and they view that like centrism as like the peak of intellectualism or something.
That's a fallacy, Hassan. The golden mean, it's called the fallacy of the golden mean. It isn't the mean is golden. That's the fallacy of the golden mean. The middle is not correct because it's the middle. Oh, this is actually cooked. Oh, looks like I need to buy another one.
They just believe people are capable of being apolitical when they're very clearly cutting right-wing propaganda. It's just the enlightened centrism.
Philosophy 101 guys love Kant because he's who all the associate professors used to teach you the basics and the jargon so you can continue. That sounds about right. That's why I said Beatles and Shakespeare. You know what I mean? It's like there's a reason why they are important. It's because they are foundational. But saying they're your favorite is like, really? You didn't delve deeper?
Thing is so powerful, I think.
It's a general zoomed out pattern you should take a look at. Generally, it starts with a good idea because politicians primarily get elected and get votes from having these.
I think I have a kind of like almost mystical respect for books in that I like when I get a paperback that costs me $20, I baby it. And I'm like, you know, there's a solemnity to it, and I don't ever like put it face down and crack the spine. You know, I treat it very gently. You know, I sit up when I read, even though it's only $20. There's just a solemnity to a book, and I just respect it, and I don't like to trash it, and I don't like to mistreat it. And so when other people do, and they're like, well, it's only $10 or whatever, it just kind of like makes me feel bad. Even though it was only $20, and I don't know why. I think it's just because it's like it's ideas made real, and my life is about ideas. And so to see people kind of just disrespecting the physicality of it, it's like a symbolism. It's just like I don't really care about that book shit.
Good ideas. They might say, listen, it's a damn.
You have a lot of strengths, but your judge of character is infamously not one of them. Proven repeatedly over the years, law, he's a dumb fuck, live nothing more. I think you guys are being too aggressive regardless. I'm not going to sit here and defend Atrioc in this video of all videos, but
we're going to finish the Atrioc thing.
The best in people regardless, okay? A TikTok guy
here in Minnesota,
the video Atrioc showed. No, I know.
Atrioc caught. We need to do, I mean, like, obviously we should declare war on Atrioc now and get it over with instead of letting him worm his way in to progressive spaces so that he could declare Gavin Newsom as his favorite because the guy gave him attention. And so he's rewarding the guy for promoting his grift. Can we just like do it now instead of waiting for him to be like, Gavin Newsom is the only one who can win, or whatever shit he's going to say in 6 months? Can we just do it now? Like, why do we have to wait? I don't care about watching Atrioc more. As far as I'm concerned, show me Atrioc videos when I can debunk them. We should make it why Atrioc is wrong about X, Y, and Z series, honestly. He's declared himself to be a centrist allied with Gavin Newsom. It's time to go to war. You decided Gavin Newsom is who you want to die with? Okay. All right, chat, it's time for our daily China glazing. 10 infrastructure projects of 2025 in China that, quote, shocked the world. I want you guys to name the top infrastructure project completed in the United States this year.
In 2025, China opened some of its most ambitious infrastructure projects. From mega transport hubs to cultural landmarks and record-breaking bridges, these projects show how fast the country is reshaping its cities and connections, pushing the limits of scale, engineering, and design. Here are 10 of the most impressive infrastructure projects opened in China in 2025.
GUANGMING.
Number 10. The Guangming Science Museum in Shenzhen. The Shenzhen Science and Technology Museum, a landmark in the heart of Guangming Science City, officially opened on May 1st, 2025. Designed by Zaha Hadid architects, the museum features 950 innovative exhibits and a dynamic roster of over 200 educational programs. It offers a spectacular ongoing technology carnival for residents and tourists alike.
When it comes to science and technology, Shenzhen is a leader, and here in Guangming they have some of the coolest exhibitions ever, like this huge eye with LED screens that represents the eye of wisdom.
The Science and Technology Museum has a total construction area of 128,000 square meters and features massive multi-story curved screens and digital domes.
Damn, that's cool. They're building museums for fun. Damn, imagine if any of our billionaires did that.
Number 9. The Changtai Yangtze River Bridge. This bridge spans the Yangtze River with a total length of 16.6 kilometers, including a main cable stayed span of 2,000 meters, and opened in May 2025 after construction began in 2017. The bridge can carry over 50,000 vehicles per day, significantly reducing travel times for commuters and freight. It improves connections between Jiangsu and neighboring provinces and support local industry by improving transport efficiency across this busy corridor. Number 8. Lishui Airport in Zhejiang Province. This airport officially opened in July 2025, after construction began in 2021. The airport has a 2,800-meter runway, a 12,000 square meter terminal, and is designed to handle around 1 million passengers and 4,000 tons of cargo annually. It connects the city of Lishui directly with major hubs like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, cutting travel times dramatically. Beyond transportation, it supports tourism and attracts new business, helping drive regional economic growth.
We got a new, mid-sized terminal. Yay!
Number 7. Shenzhen Cultural Plaza in Shenzhen.
What's really interesting is it's like when you see how much pride people in China have about the fact that their country is doing shit, whereas Americans, their pride is in explaining why we can't do anything. You understand how frustrating that is to see a country full of people just dedicated to the idea of no, we can't, or we can't afford that.
Cultural Plaza is a newly built cultural complex on Shenzhen's Hohai waterfront. Funded by the municipal government, it is one of Shenzhen's flagship design and art facilities, reflecting the city's self-image as a city of design. Construction started in 2020, and the structure was topped out in 2024. The total investment was around $5.3 billion, making it one of the most expensive cultural projects in Shenzhen. The city, known for advanced infrastructure and modern architecture, opened this fully state-backed project to the public in November 2025 to create more space for art, design, and cultural activities. The rooftop connects to Shenzhen Talent Park and the Bayfront Path, so people naturally walk and bike over the buildings. The mix of white structures, open greenery, and water gives the area a clean, modern look.
You know, Shenzhen back in time when it was born, like 45 years ago, it was designed and built resembling a lot Hong Kong. It was mainly designed for cars rather than for people, but this area, Nanshan, Baoan District, Shanghai, they're more for pedestrians, so people can actually come here and walk and find a lot of open spaces like these beautiful parks to just walk and enjoy.
The project also reflects Shenzhen's broader push towards sustainable urban development. Number 6. The brand new Greater Bay Area Cultural and Sports Center. This place sits right on the Pearl River coast, all the way at the southern tip of the city. It's huge. The whole complex covers around 7 hectares, and it feels like it was designed to kick off a new era for the region. Zaha Hadid architects worked on it with the Guangdong Architectural Design Institute, so you already know the visuals are on another level. The main stadium seats about 60,000 people. There is a 20,000-seat indoor arena and even a 4,000-seat aquatic center for diving and swimming. The design is inspired by Lingnan culture and the sea around it. The stadium roof opens like a traditional Chinese fan. The facade looks like a sail catching the wind. And there is a massive sea view window that is 150 meters wide, so spectators can literally watch sports with the water in the background. I mean, try finding that in most stadiums around the world. Construction only started in August 2023, but China's speed shows again.
That's
Structures
crazy.
topped out in early 2024.
It's like 2 years to build an 80,000 or a 60,000 seat stadium that's...
The outer shell was done by early 2025, and the whole thing is gearing up to be fully operational.
Chinese netizens and Westoids in TikTok comment sections are beefing because the Chinese keep making fun of us for not being able to do a cultural revolution. They say we'd rather be oppressed than clean up blood. Bro, listen. You know, all countries in history have committed horrible crimes. But can you imagine if your horrible crime was killing landlords instead of indigenous people? Like, imagine if your horrible crime was going too far when you expropriated the landlords, you know? Imagine that was the crime that you were apologizing for, and how sad you would feel if that was the crime that you committed. Meanwhile, the crime that we committed is like killing men, women, and children and annihilating entire nations. Their crime is the tenant got a little bit carried away when he murdered the landlord that raped his daughter. You know, like, they really just mog us.
Just in time for the games. The complex is designed not just for looks, but for green living too. Eco-materials, careful lining to protect migrant birds, and integration with the surrounding wetlands. Inside, the arena can flip between more than 20 types of sports, including ice hockey, basketball, and events that need completely different setups. It really feels like Guangzhou wanted to build
Meanwhile, we're pricing out America's sports fans from their own stadiums by hugely overpriced seasonal passes and country clubifying football. Yeah, actually, everything is becoming a fucking... There's no inexpensive fun. When I was in college, we had all... I don't know if maybe the Pirates still have this because they suck, so no one wants to watch them. The Pirates, and they had all-you-could-eat seats for $25, so we could afford to go. And you got nachos, and you got hot dogs, and you got soda, and you got pretzels, and I think they had... I want to say they had nuts and cotton candy too. The beer was not all you can drink. That would be in... Are you trying to get killed? Are you trying to get murdered? Do all you can drink beer at a stadium. Are you trying to get a mass riot? Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it was a 35 or 25. All you can eats PNC Park. $37. $37. And this was the seat. All you can eat. That's a good seat. I like being down the first baseline. That's where most of the plays are going to be. You have a really good, these are good sight lines as far as I'm concerned. $37, all you can eat. Look at, by the way, look at the stands. Oh man. Baseball is crazy, man. Professional baseball is crazy. Anyway, let's keep going.
Thing that matches the ambition of the Greater Bay Area. Modern and ready for large-scale events for decades to come. Number 5.
Bro, what the fuck is Asmol talking against Somali Americans because he's being racist? Because they're black and Muslim. It's the combination that conservatives love to hate. They're black people who are Muslim. That's why Asmod Gold is being a hater.
T5 Airport Terminal.
China's airport infrastructure is just amazing. From 2020 to 2035, they're building an average of 10 to 14 airports each year. Today we are at the T5 of Xi'an Airport. It just opened actually a few months ago. Construction started in 2021 and it was open to the public in February 2025, meaning just a few months ago. And it's already become...
You know what I'm excited for, chat? Electric light planes. Like when battery technology gets to a certain level and you could get a light plane that flies, say, 150 knots, electric, that can fly for, say, 6 hours before needing recharging. That'll be so fucking sweet.
Being a very important transportation hub here in this region. Xi'an Airport has currently
They'll never
4 different
democratize
terminals.
flying. It will always be kept cost restrictive, but they already did, though. In the past, it used to be that any middle class punter could afford a Cessna. It used to be like the same price as a mid-sized sedan. Now they cost like $250,000. It's fucking ridiculous. Like the 4-cylinder engine is $250,000, please.
This is the newest one. This is T5. It has an area of 700,000 square meters. It actually almost quadruples the total area of the other 3 terminals combined. The budget for this airport was $6.5 billion US. Right now, it handles up to 50 million passengers per year. But listen to this, they're ready to handle up to 83 million passengers per year by 2030. But they will also be able to manage up to 1 million tons of cargo per year. When they were building this airport, they found underneath 4,000 tombs and more than 20,000 relics that are now exhibited in that huge museum within the airport. This is actually believed to be the very first museum built within an airport terminal. And it's actually huge. It's 6,000 square meters.
Number 4. The world's largest indoor ski resort has just opened in Shenzhen.
You can see behind me, the whole platform basically is completed. This area is going to be a shopping mall and an area for different kind of commercial developments. Other sports like diving as well, they're gonna have here some areas just for that. Look at that. You have some cameras for face recognition, so you can either swipe your card or scan your face. On that area, we can see the advanced ski platforms. We have like 3 different levels. Of course, that's not for us yet. People in China seem to love skiing. I didn't expect seeing this many people today, especially in the advanced area. That's crazy, to be honest. Well, I'm not good at that. I fall all the way at the end, so I make all the way here. I'm really impressed to see so many people. You can see there's a huge line waiting to go all the way to the top and go down.
If you've been on an actual mountain, that's not a line.
In this advanced ski slope, like I'm speechless to see these many people, and they look very skillful, like they know what they're doing. This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the largest indoor ski platform in the whole planet.
I'll put it back on the table. I think a hairdryer might take it off. Did you take it off or did it rip?
Number 3. The Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge.
Yeah.
This is one of the tallest bridges in the whole world.
I was like, I wanted to show chat that book, and I was like,
625 meters above the canyon floor and spanning a total length of 1,508 meters.
What country is this?
Started in 28.
What country is this? When's the last time our country put together something? Our country is full of our billionaires taunting our leaders because they can't build a fucking one railroad, and they act smug about it. Instead of being ashamed that America is a shithole that can't build one line of high-speed rail in the most demanded corridor. Do you know how many flights there are between San Francisco and Los Angeles every day? I think there's like, let me Google it. I think there's like 100-some airline flights. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 260. 260 airline flights from LA to San Fran every day. And we can't build one railroad between Los Angeles and San Francisco. And people cannot, they're like taunting they're like, yeah, we couldn't even build a railroad. Ha ha ha. A government can't do anything right. It's like, why are you celebrating?
18, and it officially opened in September 2025. The bridge reduces travel time across a remote, mountainous areas by up to 2 hours, and its design allows it to safely carry heavy traffic over extreme terrain. It also opens the regions to tourism and makes it much easier for local goods to reach markets. providing a major boost to the local economy. Number 2.
Terminal 3 at Baiyun Airport in Guangzhou, China. Guangzhou Baiyun International Airport welcomed the world to its new T3 terminal and 5th runway. This is a monumental achievement, a $55 billion investment that marks the completion of the airport's third phase expansion. Baiyun Airport becomes China's first airport to operate 5 commercial runways. Baiyun is positioned among the world's leading aviation hubs, with a near-term capacity for 120 million passengers and 3.8 million tons of cargo, and an ultimate capacity for 140 million passengers and 6 million tons of cargo. As I was talking about the design of this airport that looks really striking, very beautiful, it's inspired by nature. You can see the waves and the lines are very curvy, as you can find in nature, like tree leaves, flowers, or birds. Actually, we can see in the back there are a lot of patterns that resemble different kind of tree leaves. There's also this information counter behind me. It has a shape of a flower, and one of the reasons for that is because Guangzhou is known as the flower city here in China. We're seeing here several areas. This is a special toilet for people with disabilities, quite modern. A lot of facilities, also a changing table for babies. There's another one for kids. That is so nice, with a kind of space theme. A little sink, a little toilet. Oh, that's so cool. Like every part of this toilet is for little kids, for toddlers maybe, with all the modern facilities that you might expect on a toilet. Yeah, quite futuristic, quite new.
Number 1.
Chongqing, the largest railway station in the whole world.
What can you even say? Like, I'm sorry for not reacting harder, but what can you even say? Think about your local infrastructure. If you're in America, think about the local bus station or local train station or local airport. John Xinjiang, what is this? What are these captions?
The rail yard features 15 platforms and 29 tracks, designed for a peak passenger throughput of about 16,000 people per hour. Chongqing East is a pilot project for station-city integration, bringing together 7 high-speed lines, 2 conventional railways, and 4 metro lines, aiming to provide
So in other words, basically, chat, when you get into the city, you hop off the high-speed rail, and then it's an inter-terminal transfer to your metro line that'll take you directly to your door. I don't think people understand how superior this is. I like, you don't have to take a bus. You don't have to take a transfer. You just hop on the metro line and go to your home. You can walk out your front door and end up anywhere in the country.
Zero transfer connectivity.
Zero transfer connectivity. Holy
The station
fuck.
covers approximately 1.23 million square meters, roughly the size of 170 football fields. It is a critical junction in China's A vertical and A horizontal high-speed rail network, with travel times of around 1 hour to Chengdu and Guiyang, 3 hours to cities like Wuhan, Kunming, Changsha, and Xi'an, and approximately 6 hours to major hubs such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou.
I am right now on the second floor of the main hall of the station, and this area is quite empty.
Can you imagine that? Like, it's just takes me 5 hours to drive from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, and that's speeding, and it costs me fucking $20 on the toll road each way. Oh, it's like 40 now? Oh god, I haven't made that drive in a while. Is it $40 on the toll road? So for me to drive my car, I'll have to spend, $50 on gas, $40 on tolls, and it takes me 4.5 hours.
Can tell, but in the next few months, several shops and restaurants are set to open. The trend is to make it as bright and spacious as possible to make the traveling process something more enjoyable. Here in the middle, we also can see an information desk where you can come and ask anything that you might need. I'm pretty sure some of those staff also can speak English, and that's something we're seeing also more often since China is opening up more and more to welcome foreign visitors.
In 2025, China's infrastructure development was nothing short of astonishing. Bridges, airports, and transport hubs were completed across the country, making travel faster and connecting communities like never before. And the best part? This is just the beginning. We really can't wait to see what China has planned for 2026. Of course, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all these amazing projects coming next year.
We are back, Sam.
I mean, and this, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, this is the reality of what we face. We face a situation where, hold on, let me hit back and make sure we linked the video, because I just watched the video, so I make sure to share this thing. This is the reality. The United States of America has given up, and our elites are ripping the fucking wires out of the wall. So unless we throw these elites out of office and start seizing the value of our productivity for ourselves,
we are back, Sam.
it's just going to continue to spiral until eventually it collapses. And you know what these billionaires are going to do? They're going to jump over to China or wherever they are allowed to go, although probably not China. They will eject out of here and they'll move to fucking India. Who knows where they're going to go? So we are in a war. We're in a war against China. We're in a war we're in a war against the elites. We're not in a war against China. China is just existing and developing their own country as a model. And the United States elites look at that and they don't go, well, why don't we copy what they're doing that's right? Let's do a war with China. Let's try to disrupt China's raising millions of people out of poverty. How do we put millions of people back into poverty? That's the way our society functions. And so I want you to take a look at this. Here is the reality. Nvidia's CEO, did it work? Is it wet? What the hell happened? My poor man Gramsci's face is all fucked. How did it get creased? It's not wet, chat. Not wet. Thanks, Vio. Why don't we copy China's good instead of copy their crackdowns and jokes about Trump or Kirk or far worse? Again? I can get it. It's fine. Why does Vio hate Gramsci? Thank God the Chinese people know how bad the West is. China's post-90s generation says no to liberal democracy confounds West. Chinese who came of age during the country's economic boom are less supportive of liberal democratic values than older generation, a study has revealed. Yeah, no shit. They can see how dysfunctional the West is. And when you look at our own comprehensive report card of our infrastructure, aviation D+, bridges C, broadband C+, dams D+, drinking water C-, energy D+, hazardous waste C, inland waterways C-, levees D+, ports B, public parts C-, rail B-, B-? Try F-. Roads D+, schools D+, solid waste C+, stormwater D, transit D, wastewater D+. America's report card is a fucking joke. It's a fucking embarrassment. And here's AI's CEO, Nvidia's CEO, AI CEO. China is going to win the AI race. Nvidia CEO. China will win the AI race. It's fucking Jover. As I told you before, chat, I'm kind of ambivalent on AI because the United States can't win. If it's a boondoggle, it's going to blow up our economy because it was a bubble. If it's real, China's going to win. So heads we lose, tails we lose. Did you hear China just released its first line of graphics cards? Take AI is actively bad. Didn't I just say that didn't I just say I'm ambivalent? Like, didn't I just say I don't care? And that implies that I don't think anything good is coming out of it. You know what I mean? That implies I don't think anything good is going to come out of it. It's not like I'm seeing AI is going to cure cancer, guys. I just think AI is bad is such a smooth break. I don't think it's as simple as AI is bad. I think the way that capitalists use AI is bad. I think machine learning could be useful. but there's no incentive to use it in an effective way. It's that our capitalist class sucks shit, and they want to use it to replace like creative labor, and they want to cut corners. And that is the problem with it, is they want to be like, I'm tired of paying artists to make video game models. Let's have the AI do it, because they're brainless capitalists. And I want you to understand something, chat. I think artists, maybe I'm being a Pollyanna here, and you could yell at me if you think so. I think AI slop is always going to kind of suck. I don't believe AI slop is ever going to really have that je ne sais quoi. It's always going to have that kind of uncanny valley of failure. It's never going to be good. Without human direction, without humans doing it, it's never going to be good. So maybe I'm just, this is just mystical thinking on my part. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. You know how in Star Trek they have the holodeck? You know what I noticed about the holodeck? It's always a very straightforward, flat interpretation. There's never anything stylistic about the holodeck. You know what I mean? Like whenever they go on the holodeck, it's always like flat, literal. And I think that and so, you know, I get that it's a shitty television show from the 90s, like so they were limited in what they could do. But I think that's it's kind of coming true in reality as well. Like AI slop all looks kind of samey in a certain type of way. Like the way it speaks, the way it, you know, the way it writes, the way that it generates slop. It always has, and it still has, even after they spent poured billions of dollars into it, it still has that kind of uncanny valley fail. It's already done, brother. China just built its own homegrown EUV machines. How China built its Manhattan project to rival the West in AI chips. Shenzhen team completed a working prototype of an EUV machine in early 2025. The EUV machine is like for cutting edge chips. The lithography machine, built by former ASML engineers, fills a factory floor, sources say. Government is targeting 2028 for working chip, but sources say 2030 is more likely. In a high-security Shenzhen laboratory, Chinese scientists have built what Washington has spent years trying to prevent: a prototype of a machine capable of producing the cutting-edge semiconductor chips that power artificial intelligence, smartphones, and weapons central to Western military dominance, Reuters has learned. Completed in early 2025 and now undergoing testing, the prototype fills nearly the entire factory floor. It was built by a team of former engineers from Dutch semiconductor giant ASML, who reverse engineers the company's extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, or EUVs, according to two people with knowledge of the project. EUV machines sit at the heart of a technological Cold War. They use beams of extreme ultraviolet light to etch circuits thousands of times thinner than a human hair into silicon wafers, currently a capability monopolized by the West. The smaller the circuits, the more powerful the chips. China's machine is operational and successfully generating extreme ultraviolet light, but is yet to produce working chips. In April, ASML CEO Christophe Fouquet said that China would need many, many years to develop such technology, but the existence of this prototype, reported by Reuters for the first time, suggests China may be years closer to achieving semiconductor independence than analysts anticipated. Nevertheless, China still faces major technological challenges, particularly in replicating precision optical systems that Western suppliers produce. The availability of parts from older ASML machines on secondary markets has allowed China to build a domestic prototype, with the government setting a goal of producing working chips on the prototype by 2028. Chinese authorities did not respond to requests for comment. The breakthrough marks the culmination of a 6-year government initiative to achieve semiconductor self-sufficiency, one of President Xi Jinping's highest priorities. While China's semiconductor goals have been public, the Shenzhen EUV project has been conducted in secret, according to the people. The project falls under the country's semiconductor strategy, which state media has identified as being run by Xi Jinping confidant Ding Zhuang, who heads the Communist Party's Central Science and Technology Commission. I mean, there you go. Like, it is what it is. So let's see what Nvidia's CEO says. China is going to win the AI race. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang decries the price of electricity in the U.S., contrasts it with China's subsidized pricing. Washington has lost its edge in artificial intelligence and warns that China will win the AI race. He cited the West's cynicism, export controls, and favorable energy circumstances in China as the reason. claiming it is much easier for companies to access energy in the country. The chief of the most valuable company in the world by market cap has long been saying that the U.S. ban on chip exports is a failure and that the spread of its advanced semiconductors is vital for it to retain its competitive advantage globally. However, the ongoing trade war between the two powers has resulted in export bans of Blackwell chips from the White House on the one hand, and the CCP banning foreign AI chips from state-funded data centers on the other. Because of this, Nvidia's market share in China has dropped to 0. China is going to win the AI race. Wait a minute. They don't have any of your chips and therefore they're going to win? Wait a minute here. They don't have any of your chips, but that means they're going to win? Huh? He also added that we need more optimism, saying the West's cynicism is holding it back. Now, obviously, the chatter is right to point out that this is a cynical attempt to strong arm the communities into allowing coal-fired power plants. But the reality is that it betrays a deeper truth. And that deeper truth is that the United States cannot compete with China because we do not invest in domestic infrastructure. That's that. Wang released a statement on Nvidia's X account a few hours after FT published his words. As I have long said, China is nanoseconds behind America in AI. It's vital that America wins by racing ahead and winning developers worldwide. This Nvidia CEO previously mentioned this in late September on a podcast, leaning on his stance that he's been preaching for over a year that export restrictions on his company's AI chips are detrimental to the U.S.'s long-term interests. I can tell you right now that I heard that China was making a GPU, and the only thing I want to know is it the best GPU for the money? If China releases a GPU and it is the best GPU for the money, I will use it. If I have to travel down to Mexico and smuggle it the fuck in, I will. It's similar to a 3060. Okay, I mean, that's solid, but we need them to be competing at the top. Did you see we banned new Chinese drones now? FCC imports ban on the best new drones starts today. U.S. drone makers are happy. U.S. drone hobbyists not so much. Wait, what? I didn't know about this. I would have bought some drones. What the fuck? Why didn't you tell me this before? I would have bought drones. What the fuck, chat? You should have told me this before. I did, but you ignored me, Mike. God damn it. Why'd I ignore Neoplatonic? God damn it. I want to get into drone piloting, chat. I want to get into drone piloting. I feel like that's a skill that all of us should have in the 21st century, if you get my drift. I think all of us need to learn how to pilot drones. I also think we need to learn how to machining, and chemistry. I think we all should learn a little bit about chemistry. Chemistry, machining, drone piloting. All these are important skills to have in the 21st century. What is this? Why are you sending me an auction of random shit? Were you bidding on this auction and you accidentally sent it to me instead of a link that you were... Why are these bicycles $10? Oh, drones. You could bid to drones. Oh, okay. Are these good values? Now all these are going to get bid up because all my chatters know about it. You should have sent this to me in private. Surveyor scopes. I might buy every single one of these. Amplifiers, controllers, switchers, and receivers. What are these? Trump may have struck a Venezuelan facility. Oh, geez. Trump says U.S. hit facility in Venezuela very hard. President confirmed in October that he greenlit the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. I want you to know that this is going to result in a lot of dead CIA. Because it's not very good for covert action to say you're doing covert action. Wang argues that if China loses access to Nvidia's latest AI GPUs, its tech companies will be forced to purchase homegrown alternatives, which will pour money into its chip makers and further drive research, development, and innovations in the local semiconductor industry. Aside from that, it will also reduce these companies' dependence on Nvidia's software ecosystem, making it easier for them to migrate to a Chinese AI processor. On the other hand, other industry leaders contend that the U.S. is heavily dependent on China and that it's only using Nvidia's products as a stopgap until it builds a credible competitor to the AI chip powerhouse. The comments have come just days after the administration hinted that China could have access to Nvidia Blackwell chips, but only once they are out of date. Aside from export controls, Nvidia's top executive also highlighted China's approach to energy subsidies that make it easier for companies to put up power-hungry data centers versus the hodgepodge of rules the different states in the U.S. are pushing on AI, potentially resulting in 50 new regulations. Experts have been saying that electricity generation is the next bottleneck that the AI industry must solve, and it seems that Beijing is miles ahead as it has already addressed the energy problem for its AI infrastructure. On the other hand, American tech companies are still investing in alternative power sources like a small modular reactors and space-based data centers, which will take years to materialize, if at all. Recently, Microsoft revealed it has GPUs it simply can't plug in because it doesn't have the energy required. Chat, small modular reactors is going to be way more expensive. That's just how economics works. The status of the AI race between two global rivals isn't clear, especially as politics and protectionism are muddying the waters. Aside from that, both sides' arguments for and against China getting access to NVIDIA's AI GPUs have merit. I mean, we'll probably only see who is right years down the line. The answer is you can't stop China. That's the real answer. Because whether it's China is just, if we're in a competition with China that requires infrastructure development, we lose. And the reason why we lose is because neoliberalism has destroyed our ability to do it. It'll take us 20 years to get the skills back. I worry that even if we had passed the Green New Deal, it would have failed because America doesn't know how to build anything anymore because we do it through public-private partnerships, aka scams. Do you think America would hire 15 million new government employees? That's the scale of what it would take to fix this country. We need to destroy the health insurance industry completely. We need to delete it. We're cooked. All right, somebody sent me this video in the news, content, and suggestion sections of the Discord. It's about a family that moves from America to France, and they talk about what it's like. Now, right now, France is trying to rip apart everything that makes it unique under a neoliberal government. But even after what amounts to a decade of sabotage of the French way of life,
so
let's compare.
We have officially lived in France for a month. Not vacation, not toured, lived. Long enough for the shock to wear off and for the weird truth to set in. What I want to talk about today is simple. What actually surprised us, what hit harder than expected, and what changed the way we think about daily life. Because in the last 32 days, we learned things we honestly didn't expect to learn. Things like how a simple walk can reveal an entire culture. How food that is not made by chemical corporations can fix your stomach without asking permission. How buses, bikes, scooters, and even rental cars make life feel freer than driving everywhere ever did. How healthcare can be respectful, fast, and shockingly normal. How peace feels suspicious at first. This is what we saw with our own eyes, lived with our own routines, and felt in our own stress levels.
Open presents, thank you for the 25 gifties. Appreciate you.
So here's what 1 month in France taught us. The good, the strange, the calm, and the things we never realized were missing. One of the biggest surprises this month was not some dramatic cultural moment. It was a walk, a simple walk. We forgot croissants at the store. When I said we needed to walk down to the boulangerie, the kids got dressed immediately. No complaining, no hesitation. They just got ready. It was 4 degrees out, and instead of complaining or turning around, we just agreed that next time we should bring hats and gloves. And the walk was not 25 minutes because it had to be. It was 25 minutes because we took our time. We were rushed by no one. We walked, we talked, and we pet the neighbor's dog. We took the slightly longer route so we could check out the progress on the Christmas market stalls at 6 Black Mountain Square. They're open now. That's what a simple morning errand feels like in a place designed for people instead of cars. I even filmed the whole thing. Plenty of cars were around, but pedestrians were clearly the priority. It's how the French are raised. People come first. Cars drive on paths made by people walking and pulling wagons. Pedestrians are not in your way when you're driving. Pedestrians came first. Human beings came before cars. And it's amazing to not feel like our lives are being threatened every time we need to cross a street. And I did not realize how much I had taken stress for granted until it was no longer the default. Another thing we keep noticing on these walks, individuality actually exists here. Many fences and gates are unique. Ironwork, carved wood, stone, handmade details, not the mass-produced panels you grab off the shelf at Home Depot. It is small, but it gives neighborhoods a human feel instead of a catalog feel. And something simple that surprised me, the Stop Pubs sticker on mailboxes. It doesn't stop real mail. It just tells the carrier not to deliver the optional junk ads and flyers. And they actually respect it. One sticker, problem solved. Meanwhile, in the US, you can wrap your mailbox in barbed wire and those coupons will still find a way in. Let me say this delicately because it matters. My digestion works here. In the United States, an upset stomach was a weekly event, usually more than once. Here, nothing. Well, except the first night. We made the mistake of eating Popeyes. I'm not counting that against France, though. Since then, 0 issues. We've eaten at different restaurants, we've bought groceries from big markets, little markets, boulangeries, and food carts in the street. We're still eating like a regular family, and yes, that includes ramen. We're not fine dining our way across the Alsace, although I wish we were. But even the cheap food here is real food. The ingredients are cleaner, the regulations are stricter. My body knows the difference. No stomach drama, no mystery reactions, no moments where I ask myself why it feels like I swallowed a brick. When food is treated as nourishment instead of a business model, your body notices. You can learn a lot about a country by walking through its supermarkets. Intermarché was kind of typical, Auchan didn't impress me, Carrefour and Huchen was fantastic. Leclerc is great every time. Lidl is basically Aldi with chainsaws. But the biggest difference is that I do not leave these stores mentally drained. In the United States, grocery shopping often feels like a stress gauntlet. Bright lights, missing staff, corporate overload. When you go to a grocery store in my home city, even the nice one, the staff are stressed, overworked, underpaid, and usually vulnerable young people with no choice. They're probably struggling with a society that pushes you out on your own the moment you graduate high school. For those that do get to attend higher education, they're still working when they should be studying, and social lives are not what they used to be. Here it's calm, predictable, human. The cashiers are not pressured to work faster. The stalkers are not running people over with their carts. There are no baggers, so you do that yourself. There's also not so many teenagers. They're in school, focusing on their studies, maybe having a social life, not subject to a society that puts them in some kind of debt as soon as they start on their oxygen addiction. I've been to malls, little markets, big markets, supermarkets, and hypermarkets that make Walmart look like a 7-Eleven. Not one single person has ever tried to sign me up for a credit card. Not once. One of the biggest revelations this month has been the buses. We bought bus passes for our entire stay, even got our photos printed on them. Fancy. These buses go everywhere, including neighboring towns and tiny villages with only a few hundred people. After a month here, I've already ridden more public transport than I did in the past couple of decades back home. Winstenheim and Obergvia are as close.
I mean, this is something that I would say, like, when I'm in Vienna, public transit is the default. Driving is rare. Unless I am going and I want to pick up a really big, you know, like appliance or a really big shopping trip. If I'm just popping out for a day, you're taking public transit because you don't want to have the hassle of dealing with where your car is. You understand how much that sucks? Whenever I go somewhere in America, I'm like, okay, where am I parking? Every trip is a fucking, the anxiety of like, okay, I'm here, but where the fuck do I park? Like, I realized that the other day because I was driving somewhere with Vio and I was frustrated because we got there and I didn't know where to go for like parking. And I felt myself getting like annoyed. And I realized it was throwing off my entire mood was the fucking car. And then once, you know, emotions are weird like that. They don't just like, they aren't just like a flash in a program. It's a chemical hormone bath that your brain is in. So when that annoyance starts because of one thing, it starts getting transferred over. You become more irritable. You become more short. And I realized that was happening. And I was like, I need to take a deep breath because this is nobody's fault. This is just how it is. And I need to find a spot. And so I was fucking trying to meditate because driving around in America sucks shit. And then they tack on an extra $15 to park or whatever. And it's like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't pay public transit. I have a $50 parking bill now. I dread every time my friend at Koreatown invites people over, you have to add an hour of looking for parking onto your drive. I know LA a lot. It is fucking outstanding, except for the fact that public transit is absolutely miserable. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to react in chat and they're going to say to me, no, Mike, you're just being a baby. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It isn't fine. I'm glad that you're able to use it. I'm glad that you're enjoying using it, but it's not okay. It's not good enough.
to Colmar as Dighton and Berkeley are to Taunton. But Gatcher doesn't go anywhere near them. 17 other towns served by the bus line here have populations under 5,000. 4 have populations under 1,000. Niedermorschwihr has 561.
Look at how full this bus is. And notice that everybody on the bus, keeping to themselves, they're like, it's just everybody uses it of all classes. It's kind of weird not to use public transit.
People at last count, and it has 4 bus stops. Let that sink in. And everyone uses the buses. Kids, teens, parents, grandparents, people in casual clothes, work uniforms, suits, people who look like they're heading to negotiate EU treaties. Every class, every age.
Wow, rewatched.
Every job. There's no stigma. There's no judgment. There's no belief that buses are for poor people. It's normal. It's functional. You do not need gas, insurance, repairs, or the emotional damage of driving with lunatics. You do not need to fight for parking or revolve your life around commuting. Here, you get on a clean, modern bus and go where you need to go. You can look out the window or answer an email. I beat a high score on Sudoku last week on a bus. Colmar's more livable in every way. The United States could do this. It simply doesn't. And it's not just buses. Mobility here is everywhere. Pedal bikes, e-bikes, cargo bikes, utility bikes, standing scooters are everywhere, both the kick ones and electric, and they're not even a nuisance. They simply flow.
Hegemonogenic, that is a cursed link, man. It's like broken too.
Through the city like everything else. And the bike lanes are real, dedicated, protected, connected. Sometimes they're painted on the road, sometimes they're on the sidewalk, but they're so heavily used that everyone respects them, even if you think you're a big shot because you drive a Benz. And if you need a car, there are rental options everywhere. Apps, agencies, short-term services. I rented a car to go to Strasbourg to replace my defective Skechers, and the rental was cheaper and simpler than I expected. The fuel though, the fuel is the painful part. Fuel here costs about double. But the point is, you can rent a car easily because you're not forced to rely on a car every day. Walking, biking, gliding, scooting, renting a car when you need one, it all fits together. And let me say this clearly, there are so many cars available right now on these apps within a 10-minute walk of our apartment that it's unbelievable. Some pretty nice cars too. This is not some car-free paradise. Cars are everywhere. They're just not trying to murder you. They're not the center of the universe. They coexist with everything else instead of demanding the whole world bend around them. You get real mobility here before you ever need a license. Kids can walk, kids can bike, kids can scoot. Adults can get anywhere without a car. Nobody is trapped, dependent. Nobody needs to spend $1,000 a month just to have their own car in the driveway.
A developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's a place where the rich use public transport. I mean, yeah, $1,000 a month. Okay. If you buy a new car, first of all, good luck coming out of the dealership with a payment that's less than like $700. Good luck. That's number one. Number two, insurance and fuel. When you add all those together, you're looking at $1,000 a month minimum, and that's not for anything fancy. I'm talking about fuel maintenance, parking costs. If you live in an apartment, they're probably charging you for a parking space. If you own a home, a significant portion of that property is dedicated to the garage. But if you're park out on the street, you probably have to pay for a parking pass. All those costs add in. Plus, you have to wash the vehicle. So that's additional cost. Not that much, but it gets thrown in the bucket.
This is real freedom, not the car payment kind, not the insurance deductible kind. Actual freedom of movement, the actual ability to choose. One of the other big shocks this month was healthcare. I booked a doctor's appointment the same day. Not urgent care, not a panicked squeeze in, just a normal appointment. Here's the wild part. This was a new doctor in an office I'd never visited. It was easier and smoother than seeing the doctor I'd known for years in the United States. There was no clipboard with forms that asked the same thing 3 different ways. There was no insurance interrogation. There were no 20 pages to initial and sign. There was no paperwork asking me to acknowledge a privacy notice that no one has ever actually read. I checked in, sat down for for about 4 minutes and saw the doctor. Not a nurse, not a medical assistant. The actual doctor came out, called my name, and walked me into his office. We talked, he listened, he wrote a prescription. I was out in 13 minutes. Not because I was rushed. Quite the contrary. The doctor asked if there was anything else he could help with. I was out in 13 minutes because he actually saw to my needs. Then I walked across the street to the pharmacy and had the prescription in my hand in minutes. From entering the doctor's office to leaving the pharmacy was under 30 minutes. Here's the part that really messes with your head. Here, I paid full price, and it probably still cost me the same or less than it would in the United States. And it took less than half the time that it would have taken at home. The same money for far less hassle and far less wasted time. Sign me up.
Oh no, the Noam Chomsky quote. Oh no.
Imagine how smoothly it would go if I actually had the healthcare here. Full price in France is equal to or cheaper than insured healthcare co-pays in the United States. When we're out there every day around noon, I see kids leave school, grab lunch in the park with their friends, and then return 2 hours later. No panic, no rushing, no shouting, just kids being independent. The school doors are literally wide open. There is authority, but it's not fear-based. Kids are not treated like inmates, so they do not act like inmates. And this approach does not stop at childhood. Everything I've learned about higher education here lines up with the same philosophy. Students study, students rest, students live. They're not buried in debt. Parents are not crushed financially. Students are not stressed to the point that they give up. There's no student debt crisis or people paying loans for decades just to go to school. And while I haven't sat in a French university classroom myself yet, the numbers and the outcomes are right there. The universities here are real universities, world-class public institutions, actual places of research and learning, not the predatory for-profit scams you see advertised on TV back home, not the diploma mills that charge $40,000 a year for a piece of paper employers laugh at. I'm looking forward to seeing this firsthand as my kids get older, because from everything I've seen, higher education here is treated like a public good, not a business model. France invests in education because it strengthens society. Meanwhile, in the United States, we act like education's a luxury item most can't afford. This also took some getting used to. Seeing 6 and 7-year-olds walking around alone, waiting for the buses alone, cutting through the parks alone, made every American alarm bell go off in my head. In the United States, we are raised on fear, horror stories, worst case scenarios, news, paranoia. Here, nobody reacts because it's normal. Kids simply exist in public, sometimes in groups, sometimes alone. Adults are still everywhere, and the communities function. It's not naive, it's normal. If a kid screamed here, people would respond instantly. Until then, they're fine and they're stronger for it.
Well, I mean, the reason why you can't allow children to wander around in the US is if they get hit by a car, they're fucking dead. You know what I mean? Like, and I was raised, my parents were basically the type to be like, all right, go play, bye. And we would just leave. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I was raised. They'll be like, see you for lunch or see you for dinner, bye. It was a different time.
France did not give us paradise. It gave us a normal we had never known, a functioning, peaceful, imperfect normal. The strangest part is how the absence of stress feels suspicious at first. You wait for someone to yell. You wait for someone to shove past you. You wait for a horn to blast or a public meltdown. You wait for a car to jump the sidewalk because another driver stopped for a pedestrian in a crosswalk. But none of it happens.
Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. I mean, for some people. For some people.
Slowly, you stop bracing for impact.
I lived all over PA.
You stop scanning every stranger. You stop just surviving. You start living. I do not miss the stress, not one bit. I'm still adjusting, but I appreciate this new normal more every day. Here's the truth after 1 month. Corporations should never have control of your health. Profit is not everything. Everyone deserves to be healthy. A smarter society is a stronger society. Appreciated employees appreciate their employers. Sanity should not be rare. Basic needs should not be battles. Food labels should not require a chemistry degree. Kids should not be collateral damage. And life should not feel like a gamble. This month did not show me that France is perfect. It showed me that the United States is broken in ways that do not need to exist. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed that I had to leave the United States to understand what dignity in daily life feels like. This month was not a fantasy. It showed me what life looks like when systems actually help the public. There is a quote that sums this up. The care of human life and happiness, and not their destruction, is the first and only object of good government. We are the Marvel family. We are just a regular family that got tired of being tired. We're not wealthy or experts. We're here exploring our future. And after a month in Colmar, France, it is clear life can be better than the one we left. And before you go, I want to say this. One of the best parts of doing this is learning from you. So if you saw something we didn't, if you have insights from where you live, or if you have questions you want us to explore while we're here, leave them in the comments. We want to learn this with you. And yes, like every YouTube creator since the dawn of recorded history, we can really use every like and subscriber you're willing to give. If you want to follow along as we figure all this out, we have a lot to explore and all of it to share. Thanks for being here with us. See you next time.
I think for me, it's not that I think France is utopic. If anything, France is falling in the same ways that the United States is falling. And it's because drew France together is being undermined by the same international capitalist class. Barack Obama endorsed Macron. And what has Macron tried to do? Take a hatchet to all these institutions that this American is experiencing for the first time. It's an international struggle. There is no life raft. There is no nation that you could flee to where things are figured out. We are in an international class war, and they're winning. They're really winning. And you know what they see? They see a future where you're a nerve-stapled drone, where you've got a Neuralink wire in your head. Drones are floating over your head. AI cameras are tracking your every move and every utterance on social media. They record everything you say in private through the smart TV microphone. They want a world of totalitarian control. That's what they're aiming for. And we are the last generation that can stop them. We are the last generation that can seize the means of production. It's us or it's over. They're trying to make Terminators real. They're trying to make Agent Smith real. They don't look at those stories and say, those are cautionary tales. They look at those stories and say, yeah, but what if I controlled the Terminator? Oh, yeah, what if I was in charge? That's the reality. And there is a different future. So I'm going to share this video because we watched it on stream and it was pretty sweet. Theo is back and we have gumbo. We're going with the gumbo. We have shrimp and kielbasa and a nice ghee at the bottom over rice. Thank you, Vio. There's some we got green bell peppers, like some okra. When the hell did you get okra? Onions. Thank you. I made gumbo for Christmas. Where do I fall on Scrapple? I am a Scrapple. Did I link this yet, by the way? Let me link it again. I am a Scrapple enjoyer, but I'm the type of person who likes it fried and then covered in maple syrup. I know. Crispy with maple syrup. It's the best way to eat it. What in the white people food is that? We talked about pierogies earlier, chat, which are very good. Vio is a pierogi enjoyer now. Here's a pan. These are these might be deep fried or pan. No, these are pan fried. Pierogies are filled dumplings made by wrapping unleavened dough around a filling and cooked in boiling water. That's one way. You can boil it. I'm not a boiler enjoyer. That's too Polish for me. I'm not a boiled pierogi enjoyer. That's too Polish for me. You gotta fry it, whether it's deep fried or pan fried. I can't do that. That's too Polish for me. The boiling that's too much. For Scrapple. Oh yeah. This is raw Scrapple right here. It's a loaf made from pork scraps like head, heart, and liver mixed with cornmeal and buckwheat flour, herbs, and spices. popular in the mid-Atlantic US, especially Pennsylvania, originating from German immigrants. It's boiled into a mush, formed into a loaf, cooled, sliced, and fried until crispy. It's served with breakfast with syrup or ketchup. Ketchup? I'm not a ketchup on Joy or on Scrapple. No, give me the syrup. Is it good? Yes. Is it? How do I explain this? You probably wouldn't like it, but it is good. There's no such thing as raw scapple. What I mean is, you know, yes, obviously it's not raw because it's boiled fucking like offal formed into a loaf. All right, anyway, what was I saying? Let's not get off onto the white people food, okay? Somebody put this was another video that people put into the news content and suggestions section, and I saw that it was criminally underwatched. I wanted to give it a little bit of a boost because I like little art pieces like this.
As a category.
Oh my god. I was so worried that was gonna happen. Is there any containment?
It's children in their homes.
Torrential rainfall. Flooding expected to.
They're experiencing wildfires, storms, flooding. And people saying this is the future. Future? This is the present. Pacific Palisades, one of the most valuable real estate, some of the most valuable real estate in the entire world was burned down. The entire city was rendered to ashes and nothing changed. BYD is poised to overtake Tesla in the 2025 EV sales. Growing Chinese auto giant BYD stands poised to officially surpass Tesla as the world's biggest electric vehicle company in annual sales. The two groups are expected soon to publish their final figures for 2025, and based on sales data so far this year, there is almost no chance the American company led by Elon Musk will retain its leadership position. At the end of November, Shenzhen-based BYD, which also produces hybrid vehicles, has sold 2.07 million EVs so far in 2025. Tesla, for its part, had sold 1.22 million by the end of September. Tesla's September figures included a one-time boost in sales to nearly 500,000 vehicles in a 3-month period before the expiration of a U.S. tax credit for buyers of electric vehicles, which ended under legislation backed by President Donald Trump, a climate change skeptic. Tesla sales in the coming quarter are expected to fall to 449,000, according to a FactSet analysis consensus. This would give Tesla about 1.65 million sales for all of 2025, a drop of 7.7%, and well below the level BYD had attained by the end of November. Deutsche Bank, which predicts just 405,000 Tesla EV sales during the fourth quarter, sees the company's sales down by about 1/3 in both North America and Europe, and by 1/10 in China. And ladies and gentlemen, so basically, like, how shitty Elon Musk is hasn't really translated in China. Tesla is failing not because they're getting outcompeted in China, although they're being outcompeted in China. They're failing because everybody hates Elon Musk. All right, chat. There was a video, the Majority Report made a video on the DSA strategy shift. And I figure this would be an opportunity for me to have a little bit of a dialogue with what the Majority Report is putting out. Aren't you excited for this dialogue? I know I am.
Cedar, I'm a Vigland, a Majority Report.
Is this me?
It is you.
Wow. How are you doing?
Fine. What's on your mind? Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Calling from the good old state of Maryland. Had a question for you.
Your name is?
You can just call me Nemo. It's my nickname.
Nemo.
Question and a mini rant. My question is, do you think the Democrats overall and their strategy, do you think they're being too nice? And by Democrats, I mean like AOC, Bernie, Zoran. I don't consider Hakeem a Democrat. I think he's a Republican, honestly.
Well,
okay. Well, the reality is Hakeem Jeffries is a Democrat. That's what the Democratic Party represents. I get what you're saying, caller, like you're right. But the reality is the Democratic Party is controlled by Hakeem Jeffries, not AOC. If the Democratic Party was controlled by people like AOC, then there would be a left flank of people like me who are yelling at AOC. That's not who controls it. Who controls it are basically, as you say, Republicans, and AOC is marginal. Okay? That's the reality of where we are.
He's a Democrat, but I mean, but I get what you're saying. What do you mean by too nice?
Like, I feel like, especially the way AOC and Zoran they're using politics in a way to try and make deals with guys like Hakeem and what's the Senate Majority Leader's name? The guy I can't
Schumer?
Chuck Schumer. Yeah, that guy. I feel like they're trying to play politics, and I don't.
Well, let me ask you this.
I feel like you can't.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think Mamdani would be doing politics with Hakeem Jeffries?
I understand why he wants to get his agenda passed. I understand that. But I don't sincerely think you can trust someone like that. I feel like he'll still try to undermine his mission.
He might, but how, I mean, I think it's quite clear to me that there was some type of deal that Mamdani struck with Jeffries, right?
Mm-hmm.
That when they met, Jeffries was like, don't come for me.
By the way, chat, this is bad. Just so you understand, this is bad. This is Zoran acting like a fat cat. This is Zoran acting like a power broker. This is Zoran saying, I'm going to use my power to contain the grassroots energy targeting the establishment. This is bad. I know we can rationalize it all you want, but this is bad. And the reason why it's bad is because Hakeem Jeffries is so far away from caving on anything of importance policy-wise and tactically, we can't move him to do smart shit to win more. Like if Hakeem Jeffries was a smooth operator and intelligent and was like, willing to come in our direction to give us shit, that would be one thing, but he's not. You're capitulating and you're undermining the grassroots energy that we need to be focusing on these kind of guys like Hakeem Jeffries, like Chuck Schumer.
Donnie was like, don't stop my agenda. And that was the deal. And I think you know it. I know it. I mean, he wasn't explicit when he came on the show about it, but it was quite clear. He said, the reason why we're not supporting a challenge of Jeffries is because my job is to get is to make sure that our mandate is fulfilled.
And I would just suggest that the DSA members that voted to prioritize that also know about the nature of Jeffries.
Just everybody knows that. And so, you know, like you can say, and I could say, dude, you have plenty of political capital to pull both off. But I don't know that I would believe that personally, but it's quite clear he doesn't believe that. And, you know, we can prefer, you know, we can still hate Jeffries. And frankly, you know, like we can still sort of like have designs on his seat in
By the way, this is my position. My position is there was a lot of different things that Zoran could have done. He could have just shut the fuck up and said, I'm not involved in this. And he could have said to Hakeem Jeffries, I'm not involved in the primary. I'm not in office yet. That's their thing. And then later, when Jeffries was feeling the heat, he could be like, listen, I can intervene if you get me the free buses. If we could get this stuff passed and I look like I'm doing well, my endorsement of you or my non-endorsement of the DSA candidate will go a long way, Hakeem. He gave up his leverage. Aren't we always bitching at the Democrats for giving up their leverage up front in exchange for a promise? How do you do that to Hakeem? How do you get tricked by Hakeem Jeffries? The problem is, it's not that necessarily we could rip out Hakeem Jeffries, although I believe we could. I personally believe he could be defeated, but let's leave that aside. Let's say that we couldn't, just for the sake of argument. Hakeem Jeffries is still going to feel the heat better if the challenge exists. Now, if you go all in and endorse it, well, then you're going to war and he's going to try to fuck you. But if you stay neutral and you say, hey, I'm staying neutral like you stay neutral, I'll endorse you at the end. If I feel like we're working good as a team. And I think, you know what I mean? Like, he gave up his leverage in the beginning, like a Democrat. Haven't we learned that you can't give up your leverage to the right? You either get, it's a transactional situation where there is simultaneous exchange. That's the only way you could work with a centrist or a right winger. You cannot do something and hope they pay you, because they're never going to pay you. And that's my problem with what Zoran did. He put his back into blocking the challenge. He basically endorsed Hakeem Jeffries. And what has he got for it? I haven't seen fuck all yet. So maybe Hakeem Jeffries is going to keep his promise. I'm not going to hold my breath. And that's the problem, Sam, is Hakeem Jeffries is falling into the same patterns of behavior of Chuck Schumer, which is, you give me a promise, I'll give you value. Well, Hakeem Jeffries has no credit score with me. He has no credibility with me. I don't believe his promises.
Years. But I think Mamdani feels, this is my guess, and I think it's fairly obvious, that he doesn't want the most powerful congressional member in New York State, and probably one of the most powerful congressional members in the country, because he's the leader of the Democrats, to manipulate things in such a way that it's harder for him to get stuff. So in other words,
by the way, you know who used to also be one of the most powerful Democrats in the House? Joe Crowley. And then he got his fucking neck cut by AOC. None of these people are popular. None of them are grassroots. Nobody likes Hakeem Jeffries. Let's be honest here. The guy has no fucking... Like, what are we talking about? He is not an organic creation of the grassroots. He's not somebody who has millions of fans. Let's be honest. He's there because he's an AIPAC shill and a Wall Street shill. That's why he's there. That's why he's fucking there. Because he was bought and paid for. And he was somebody that Nancy Pelosi could work with in New York, who would sell his soul. That's why he's there. Let's stop pretending that he's some sort of power broker. He is a toady. And his democratic legitimacy is nil. We could sweep him out of office. Lickety split.
Jeffries, if he becomes speaker, and even in minority, as the minority leader, he has the ability to direct monies to different congressional people's districts. That money goes down to state assembly members. Those people are the ones who are going to be voting or pressuring Hochul or voting for or against any packages to raise taxes in New York City. That's just the way it works. Or they could thwart a lot of this stuff. And so this is the calculation he's made. It's not, you know, like when you say it's politics, this is like, yes, it is politics. It's exactly the way that you get things done when you talk about providing material benefits for people. And here's the interesting thing about this, is that people criticize Mamdani, but if this was AOC, they'd all be saying he's careerist, right? Like when and it's obviously different when you're an executive versus a lawmaker. The topography of the world is different. But this is probably the biggest political job that he can ever have. Right? Like he can't run for president.
He could run for Senate. He could run for Senate. I think Mamdani as a senator would be the best place for him. Or I guess governor, because we need that politics to have a national import. I don't want it to be region locked, because guess what? America's not a regional place. We have regional flavor, but we have national or international politics. Let's be honest. I don't want region locked politicians anymore. We need them to be at the highest level, and the highest office he could get is Senate. He could be the majority leader of the Senate.
He could be governor of New York, I guess, one day, but it's really, you know, like being mayor of New York City is like Sanders said in this interview we did, second hardest job probably in the country. And he's certainly like, you know, it would probably be a lateral move if he's governor, I guess. I mean, and so he's doing this because he wants to deliver. He wants to deliver for New York.
Is Sam's description of current political reality accurate? I mean, here's the problem. Our views are popular, but our popular views are not coalesced into an organized movement that people identify with, right? We have a lot of soft support for ideas, but it's not hardened into a politically active core, right? This is the failure of the DSA strategy. The problem with the DSA strategy is it doesn't allow that crystallization. Everybody's overplaying tactics. There's not enough strategy. And what I mean by that is everybody's so concerned about the next election, they're not able to think in decades. They're not able to think like, okay, well, if we do this kind of soft entryism into the Democratic Party, we're going to be bogged down in the trenches of the Democratic Party for decades. Whereas a rupture moment could eventually lead to our views being represented in power. Now, maybe we could take the Democratic Party by storm in 2028. I'll be honest with you, chat. I'm skeptical because the way primaries are, they're low turnout affairs. And who votes in low turnout affairs? Highly educated white people. Are highly educated white people going to vote for the socialist? That's the question. Are highly educated white people going to vote for the socialist? And I think the answer is maybe. When socialist revolutions work is when the educated professional classes lose faith in the status quo. Fascism happens when there's a crisis and the educated professional classes side with capital. Socialism happens when the educated professional classes help, collapse away from the status quo and demand complete and utter revolution and radical rebuild. So that's the question, is exactly how is that kind of like middle class, that credentialed person, the person who did everything they're supposed to do, how are they feeling right now? And, in places where that side leans to the left, you get China. When it leads to the right, you get Germany. And it's an open question where that petite bourgeois is going to go, where those professional classes are going to go. That is the terrain of political radicalization. And of course, where are the masses? I do not think the masses in America are on the right. There are concentrations of power of the downscale, non-college educated white people from the South. That's the core of fascism in America, right? But it's not white people in general. It's like 90% of white people in the South, but it's not white people in general. And white people in general, it's probably closer to, like, if you were to take the South out of it, I would say 55% of white people were probably leaning left. The white South is what makes white people conservative in America. Like the conservative, I think a lot of people are not really. This is some point that I consistently make, is that Southern whites are a different breed. And it's not, by the way, it doesn't mean if you're a Southern white and you feel you're objecting and you're going like, Mike, what about this? What about that? I know I'm thinking of you. You are in that 20% of Southern whites that are decent. Okay. Like, it is what it is. Like, you're fine. I'm not saying that all of you as a whole are bad. And by the way, if you object to me speaking generally about white people, well, this is how I feel when you speak generally about some minority group. Are you framing that as a challenge or actually I'm accurately portraying a picture? I'm accurately. We've talked about this before. But white people in the South are much more conservative than white people in other parts of America. That's true. And we can go through all the data if you want. But white people in the South are much more conservative than white people elsewhere. Not saying white people elsewhere are not conservative. They often are. But white people in the South are significantly more conservative than the rest of the country. Wake up, there is no the left, only the people, that's it. I mean, true. But here's the thing about me. I agree with you, Open Presence, but the thing about me is I use the terms because they're going to be used on me anyway. I might as well defend the terms instead of running away from the left or saying, oh no, there is no left, right, or any of this other bullshit. I'm going to say, I'm going to do the thing that you don't expect, me actually talk about what the left really is. You ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red.
City citizens, and he wants to deliver for the movement. And we can, you could second guess his judgment that it would be better for the movement if he risked succeeding as mayor to attempt to get Hakeem Jeffries replaced by some backbencher in Congress and have Catherine Clark as the Speaker of the House. But I don't know. That doesn't sound like a smart thing. If you're
okay, I personally think Sam Cedar is making a strong point here, and this is why I'm not an ultra, right? This is why I'm not going viciously at Zoran, even though I disagree. I think my disagreement with Zoran is I think he should have been neutral instead of anti-challenge. That's my disagreement with Zoran. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. I'm allowed to disagree with him on some tactical decision. I don't think it's the end of the fucking world. Now, I'm lodging my objection and maintaining my support of Zoran. Why? Because I think it's smart in the long run. It's the same way I felt about AOC. I hated the fact that so many online leftists have made AOC a punching bag. I think that was a major mistake and stupid. I think she should have been pressured, and she should have been attacked for her bad takes and her bad positions. But making AOC into some sort of failure is just a lack of coherent thought about where we are in politics and who she represents. So I've had harsh criticisms for her. But I still recognize her as fundamentally emerging from the populist left, which is what we need to have more power, not less. And people like her. She's popular. And when I say popular, I'm not talking about always online leftists who know every congressperson. I'm talking about regular people. It's very hard to penetrate the bubble of regular people as a politician. To be a junior congresswoman in your 30s and most people know who you are, that's fucking insane. And be a left-winger? That's unbelievable. And I think, you know, if you know who Rashida Tlaib is, you are in the top 5% of political knowledge, if not 10%. Meanwhile, 90% of people have probably heard of AOC. Do you understand the gap between the two? Do you understand how many billions of dollars have to be spent to go from being known by 10% of people to be known by 90% of people? That value is hard to get. It's like you got to fight with the army you have, not the army you wish you had.
Our goal is to both help materially New York City citizens and to help the movement nationally. I mean, as Bernie said in the interview we just did with him 10 minutes ago, not only is it going to resonate nationally, but it's going to resonate internationally. Right. And it's all about...
And that's, by the way, an old Mike from PA argument that all politics is international. I've been saying that for 7 years now. It's actually one of my political arguments that I push back against the status quo and conventional wisdom. We no longer live in this place where you're going to have a bunch of like little local idiosyncratic politicians. The left grows when you have a successful national politician. That's how the left grows. The left is not growing because we had a really good school board candidate in Spokane, okay? The left is growing when we have a strong national left-wing candidate. And it doesn't just grow in America, it grows worldwide. When Bernie Sanders was doing well in America, Corbyn was doing well in the UK. When the left grows here, it becomes culturally dominant around the world as well. Woke didn't just, you know, like, and I don't say that because of American exceptionalism and I'm a chauvinist or something. I hate that. I wish it wasn't true. I wish to hell it wasn't true. But it is.
Whether he can deliver, you know, a universal child care.
But if there are 1,000 left-wing school board candidates, then that does grow the left in a grassroots way. I agree with that. But how do you get 1,000 left-wing school board candidates? You have something that draws left-wing people out of their holes and into a central place where they all start organizing together. And for example, the thing about presidential campaigns are local campaigns. That's how they actually work. When AOC runs for president, she'll have an AOC for president organizing office in every state. Do you understand? And then local people from those states will go to those organizing for AOC and they'll realize, oh, there's a bunch of other lefties here. And then they start meeting each other in person. You understand? That's how actual national campaigns have national volume, meaning they penetrate people where they are locally. That's the ironic part that people don't understand. We're all on mass media now. We're all on social media networks. So local races are actually have lower volume than national races. So you get more marginal people into politics from a national race than you do from a local race. This is what people are like. This is where their wires are crossed. So if you want 1,000 leftist school board members, you need to have one powerful national campaign, because they're not actually done in DC. Presidential campaigns are done in every state. And everybody's interested in the presidential race because it's the most powerful and therefore the most consequential, therefore the most cinematic, therefore the most money, therefore the most polished, the most debated. That's what you're not understanding. It's not that I'm against localism because I'm against localism because I'm some sort of centralist, Marxist, tanky. It's because about volume, and we're competing for attention. What has more attention than the president? No one. So if you want the left to grow, we need a strong, unabashed, popular leftist president in the modern economy. In the modern world, that's what we need. So that's why I have not attacked AOC. In fact, I've taken a lot of shit for being far more right wing than I actually am, because I see AOC as a important catalyst for the left to grow nationwide. I have decided not to go after her because of that. And I've been doing it for 7 years, and people have called me like all sorts of sock dem shit, even though I'm literally a fucking Marxist Leninist. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that. But you get my point. I'm a democratic socialist. Shit. But you get my point. I'm trying to build up the left in America through somebody like AOC, even though she's way to my right. And the reason why, even though I criticize her all the time, the reason why I don't want to give her the business and like fuck her up and go vicious against her is because we're all going to need to be behind her to do what I just said. And so many people get attention. That's why people get attention for shit talking AOC, because she's a national figure. That's why there's so much AOC talk. That's why there's so much Graham Plattner talk, because Graham Plattner became a national figure because he was unusual and got talked by the national media. So then people started making money by fixating on Graham Plattner. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's a national political figure. There's 100 senators. Do you even know who they are? It's time to tear that wallpaper and reveal the Lenin and Stalin pictures. Vio got me a Mao Vio got me like these Mao posters, and I was like, Vio, I can't put these up. I can't put up Mao pictures and then talk to somebody running for governor of Wisconsin. Like, are you okay? Plattner is most likely a white supremacist. Plattner was probably a white supremacist at some point. That's probably true. Oh, for sure. People like BE knows every congressman and race. His choice for Plattner is carefully chosen. Yeah.
Faster buses, raise those corporate taxes, for grocery stores. I mean, like Bernie said, it's not a radical agenda, but he must succeed. He must succeed.
And and I guess my biggest point is, like, I worry because, like, the Democrats have been so bad at strategy for so long. I just hope what they're trying to do here works out. Like, I feel like what we need is, like, Because they always call like voices like AOC and Zoran the far left, but I feel
One of my friends brought a new friend over. He was very concerned about the commie propaganda in my bathroom. Not sure they'll come back. And you didn't do a good job. This is what happens when someone comes over to my house.
Fight, fight, fight for Washington State. Win the victory. Win the day for crimson and gray. Best in the West, we know you'll all do your best. So on, fight till the end. Honor and glory you must win. So fight, fight, fight for Washington State and victory.
Tuttle from Tacoma. Do you know where you are?
My guess is I'm in the clutches of the angry pink menace.
I am Suvana. We will be spending much time together.
You'll get nothing from me but my scorn.
Come, this is the People's Army. From here we strike out and bring hope to the oppressed. The oppressed who are still slaves to running dog, foul-breathed, capitalist vermin like yourself. We exist only to spread the word. Tom Tuttle from Tacoma. You will be brainwashed.
Me, America's son, will be a challenge.
You bet.
Our enemies are all those in league with imperialism, the bureaucrats, the big landlord class, and the reactionary section of the intelligentsia attached to them.
Very good, Tom. You quote the chairman well.
Our enemies are all around us. We must always be on our guard. Sure, we'll lose a lot of snooze time, but that's okay. We'll catch up after the revolution's over.
That's enough, Tom.
The leading force behind our revolution is the industrial proletariat. Our closest friends are the entire semi-proletariat and the petty bourgeoisie.
That's enough, Tom.
But there's so much more.
I said that's enough! The time has come to tell you your mission.
Oh, yes.
If they're not leaving your house like that, what did you do? Why'd you fuck up? Also, did you notice how the studio changed the line? Do you see how they like changed the line? Like look at how it's dubbed in.
Only to spread the word. Tom Tuttle from Tacoma. You will be brainwashed.
See what I mean? You will be brainwashed. They trained. That's not what he said. I think he said you will be educated or you will be re-educated or something like that. You will be educated. The studio changed the line to brainwashed. The capitalists were getting scared. That was too good.
barely far left. I feel like you could have
right. No, I agree. I agree. But listen, look at what's happening with the affordability.
Thanks, speech, generic.
Just Mamdani won on affordability, and Trump is out there trying to.
The original line. Okay, hold on.
Where you are, I'm in the clutches of the angry pink menace.
You will be educated.
That will be a challenge.
You will be educated. That will be a challenge. Yeah, average American being educated.
Run on affordability. All the Democrats are running on affordability. Now, the word is like very vague and it can mean different things to different people. But this is the way that politics works. This is the way that society works.
Oh my God, that line makes so much sense. You will be educated. Me, America's son, that'll be a challenge. Oh my God, they ruined the comedy. They ruined the comedy because they were so worried.
Television shows, for God's sakes. Oh, we have four, hipsters in a room. Well, everybody's going to do four hipsters in a room.
And I do think there is a moment that needs to come where you need to go for the jugular. I think Zoran knows how to do those moments. The debate moment where he said, "I'm not you, Andrew. I didn't sue women for their gynecological records." That's a type of edge that I frankly wish I have seen from Bernie in some of the primaries.
Yes.
And I want to see from folks. But I do think you need to pick your spots about that. And look at how Plattner's running up in Maine. Sorry, Brian. He's not going at he's going at Collins, and he's not going at and then the Republicans. He's not going at his Democratic primary voter. I think that's smart because I think these sorts of progressive type left, and again, it's not they're not communists, but left in terms of our political system, they have a chance to take over these voters in a way that they haven't before. The way that people turn out to the oligarchy thing, again, I do think it needs to turn towards a more DSA socialist type of organizing ground up thing that got Zoran involved, but I think they're there for the taking. I think that's the calculation people like AOC and Bernie are making right now.
Appreciate the call.
And thanks.
All right. Cole from Michigan. Was the DSA vote about not primarying Jeffries or just not supporting Kiase? It was about the DSA not getting involved in primarying Jeffries.
I don't think it was a reflection on us.
Brooklyn Progressive. If you're passionate about supporting Kiase, you can still volunteer. DSA is not the only path to victory. There are many progressive clubs and orgs that do this work, and may be controversial to say here, but some are better at local organizing than the DSA. Yes, I just don't think that anybody's going to challenge without like any of that muscle behind them.
Yeah, prove it. I would love to see another left org come and topple Hakeem Jeffries. And I think with them doing that, while Mamdani saying, actually, I'm focused on New York. Don't make every one of my interviews about that. Is actually dialectically probably a good stage to get to.
Oh, I got no problem. We got somebody who's going to, challenge Jeffries in a meaningful way, because I don't want to, tell people to donate to a candidacy that is sure not to win.
Unserious.
But if there is a serious challenge out there, I mean, you can be sure we're all in for it. I mean, the whole point is, I don't think that Mamdani said, I'm in charge of everybody who might.
I'm DSA director now.
Dizzle McFizzle, Jeffries is going to cook Mamdani anyway. Jeffries is a snake and he'll betray Mamdani regardless. So Mamdani should have supported a primary against him. But what do I know? I'm just a dues-paying member of DSA in Wisconsin, so it doesn't matter. Well, first off,
here's the thing. There were multiple different orientations that he could have taken. He could have taken, we're going to war against the establishment. Fuck Hakeem. We're gonna cut their throats. Roar! Civil war, civil war. He could have done that. That would have been fucking, that would have been hype, and everybody would have gone wild, and everyone would have loved it. But it's risky, okay? It's risky, all right? He could have also said, I'm not focused on DC. I'm focused on New York. He could have played the greatest hits with the Tel Aviv shit. It'd be like, listen, I am a DSA member, and I am a DSA supporter, but I am focused on being the best possible mayor I could be. And I don't know who's going to be representing all the districts in New York City at the end of next year, but I pledge to work with everyone. Get whatever policies we can get passed to make New York as good as it can be. That's the neutral say. He could have just said, I'm going to be neutral on this for now. I want to wait and see. That's what I say he should have done. And then he could have his backroom conversations with Hakeem and be like, hey, you want me to not support the primary? I need to see you coming in our direction and delivering on the promises that I made. I need your help to put pressure on Democratic officials. If you want my support, you weren't supportive of me in the race. So now if you want my support after the race, you're going to have to earn it. Okay? And to have that open conversation with Hakeem behind the scenes and be like, if you want to fight me, I'll fight you. And instead, he did option 3, which is he actively undermined and blocked the primary. And he almost lost, by the way. This is something to understand, is he went all in and arguing against the primary, and he almost lost. The DSA vote was close. I think he got 55% no. It was close. So if he can barely carry DSA members in person, the appetite for fucking primary Hakeem Jeffries is absolutely sky high, and he made a miscalculation. Okay, if he had come out and said we got a primary Hakeem all in, they would have gotten 100% of the vote. What does that say about the viability of the primary? The viability of the primary is very good if Zoran standing there saying no can barely get 50%. So I think he picked the worst option because he paid up and he gave. It's like I don't know if you guys have ever worked with a general contractor on a structure. It's like paying their entire bill up front before they put in one plank of lumber. You're gonna get scammed. I don't care how honest the contractor was. If you give them everything up front, you're not gonna get built on time. Okay? Like, that's just the way it goes. Is DSA anti-capitalist? Yes, but there are different ideologies. DSA is an umbrella socialist group, which means it doesn't have a strict line on everything. Meaning there are reformists, social democrats, all the way to revolutionary Maoists, okay, and anarchists. Ew. The point of the DSA is that it's an umbrella socialist group. It's a multi-tendency group. And by the way, ew to the social democrats as well. I don't want you to think that I'm like, being soft on them. Ew on them as well. And New York City DSA requires 60% in favor, and the neighborhood groups need to vote as well. It wasn't close. It was close. You're just trying to have a very pedantic argument about the definition of close. And honestly, that's embarrassing for you. Like, please don't do that. That's how you're going to get people to be pissed at you and dislike you. Like, it's a pedantic argument. I didn't say they were like they overwhelmed. I'm saying that it's surprising that even with Zoran openly campaigning against it, the vote was relatively even, which it was, which is evidence of a strong likely. There was probably people that were persuaded to vote no because Zoran said not to. Meaning, if he was neutral, they probably would have passed it. And all of these are reasonable inferences. What I'm trying to suggest is that there is a strong appetite to primary Hakeem Jeffries. And it's a shame that we missed this opportunity because he's never going to be more unpopular than right now. Well, God, I hope not, because that means if he is more unpopular than now, it means that we are literally living in fascist hell, which we already are. If they have social democrats, can they be considered anti-capitalist? The answer is yes, because they're not, because social democracy involves a transition beyond capitalism, but done so through parliamentary reform. I think you're confused because a lot of social liberals have tried to take the word social democracy and turn it to mean social liberal, which is not what that is. I know it's very popular online to say social democrats are social liberals, but they're not. And if I'm the only person defending what social democrat really means, I will be the only person defending it.
That is quite a bet. Like, you know, Jeffries.
So is Sweden a transitional state? No, because social democracy failed. Although they tried. It's called the Meidner Plan. They tried to do transition Meidner Plan. They tried to do it, but they failed. Now, you know what else failed? The Soviet Union. So does that mean that it's impossible? I don't know what the answer is. I want you to understand, nobody knows how we're going to end socialism. I'm a Marxist. I think it's going to take revolution. I am not God. Okay? Like, you know, I could be wrong about that. You know, it is what it is. But yes, there was a plan to socialize gradually, but guess what? They lost the political struggle because, you know, capitalists fought back and they had the help of the United States of America. All right? It is what it is.
Jeffries, would Jeffries like to be an obstacle to Mamdani? I would bet yes. Will he be able to do it in a way that he feels like, because it's not like this guy's not a
don't worry about the blue dog dev fascists. It's a big tent. Oh, I never said that. I never said that. There's people in DSA that I would expel right now. I think anybody who claims any connection to Zionism should be expelled immediately. And they did pass that. That did pass as a resolution. So I'm pretty sure if you call yourself a Zionist, you could get expelled from DSA. I have to go and check. Don't quote me on that. That's like I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm not 100. I have to go back and read the resolution. Yeah, it's resolution 22. Yeah, okay, thank you. Do you feel like China is betraying socialism by incorporating capitalism into their system? I think that people that write like that, illiterate. And I'm not saying that's what you think. I just think that people that write sentences like that are actually illiterate and have never read a book. And I mean that. There is no betraying socialism in the sense of like economic development stage of a country. That's not betraying socialism. Betraying socialism would be like me ratting out my socialist group to, the police. That's betraying socialism. China existing in a global capitalist world and creating and like developing their economy through a pragmatic planned stage to build up productive forces. That's not betraying socialism. Like, what the fuck? What kind of dogmatic shit are you talking about? And if you read Marx, you understand that Marx considered capitalism to be a progressive force of history. He just thought capitalism had outlived its usefulness. That there would eventually, it would end, that it had the seeds of its own destruction within it, just like feudalism had the seeds of its own destruction within it, with the burger class, the merchant class. The burger class and the merchant class eventually, due to technological and other social development, superseded the aristocrats and the feudal lords, and it displaced the feudal economy with a new form. And just like that, capitalism within it sows its own seeds of destruction, with the proletariat. The proletariat are a class that will supersede the bourgeoisie. That is the point. And so when you're asking, wow, China is developing its productive forces through having a communist party managed state capitalist phase, does that mean they're betraying socialism? What? Is there a communism button they're not pushing? What's the communism button they're not pushing? Please tell me what communism button they're not pushing. I would like to hear your communism strat. Their lack of internationalism. What you're really saying is that this Chinese state should fight wars around the world on behalf of causes that they deem to be worthy. That doesn't sound, I mean, like, come on. That is incredibly, I mean, what do you want them to do? Invade Israel? What are you asking China to do? Now, I think they should do more. They attacked Israel through the United Nations, you know, but they could sanction, I guess, Israel. They could definitely do that. And they should do that, in my opinion. I think it would be smart. I think it's an L to not sanction Israel. But the reason why they're not sanctioning Israel is because they understand that the American political class would use that to declare war on. They understand that Israel has basically got its fingers over American politicians. So if they want to maintain, the relationship with the U.S. and keep it from going to active opposition, they can't completely attack the United States directly. So they're living in the world of American hegemonic power. And they're trying to develop themselves to a point where they're strong enough to stand against the U.S. You think they're ready now. They think they're not ready. Who knows better? Like the Chinese are saying they want to be ready to stand against the United States, to be strong enough to resist the United States. And they're building a country strong enough to do that. Because the Chinese have learned that if you just have fantasies about international, global, spontaneous revolution, then you're never going to win. They won when they dispensed with fantasies about how the rest of the shit would work, and they actually focused on learning how to run an army correctly, and winning wars and battles. And when they got actually good at fighting real wars and real battles in real world, not in their mind, that's when they started to win. And I think the big problem is that there is a gap between the fantasies that you have in your head with the actual practical logistics of running a real world war. And let me tell you, it's not a good time. I think China doesn't really specifically care about when will they be ready for a more open conflict with America. They believe America will throw the first stone so they can retaliate. No, China understands that if they get isolated by the rest of the world, they will lose. The only way the Chinese could lose is if the rest of the world unites against them. So they're trying to avoid being seen in a way that will facilitate the U.S. And the U.S. is trying to build that anti-China alliance. So China is trying to offset that by making relationships with the third world, the developing world, and balance have a neutral to positive relationship with the Europeans to offset any risk of being isolated. Because that's what did the Soviet Union in. The Soviet Union was sanctioned for its entire fucking existence. So they're trying to avoid that. And I have humility. I don't think I know more than Xi Jinping about how to handle the fucking world politics. Maybe I'm a fucking dope for having humility and going, maybe I don't understand China as well as Xi Jinping. Okay? Like that's the kind of like position that I have, which I think Xi Jinping has earned himself a lot of fucking respect at this point. Like you can look at how well he's managed the world situation and how well it is now redounding for their average everyday Chinese person. That's the only reason I like China. The only reason I like China at all is because the average person's life is getting better, period. And so when I see that, when I see the average person in China's life is getting better, I go, okay, that's not an evil country then. For me, that's how you determine if a country is evil. Are they doing a bunch of wars around the world? And is the average life getting better for a poor person? And if the answer is yes, they're not fighting wars all around the world, and the average life of a regular person is getting better, that means the society has got something going for it that's going in the right direction. Doesn't mean we need to say it's perfect in every way. And I'm also, I'm a little bit of a techno-utopian, just a tiny bit, not maybe a little bit too much. I believe in that investing in things like fusion and things like high-speed rail and green energy technology, I think those things could significantly raise the standard of living of the human race. And those are important technologies that we need so we can transition beyond fossil fuels and we can start to live in a much more balanced ecological world. And China's the only country I see taking it seriously. It's the do nothing and win strap because the capitalism eats itself like what happened with the Doge. They're letting the capitalism take place naturally. I got to tell you, the idea that China's do nothing and win is wrong. China is work really hard on fixing your own shit, win. Okay? Like, that's why they're winning. They're not winning because they're doing nothing. They're winning because they're working their asses off to fix their own backyard. That's why they're winning. They're winning because they're educating their population. They're winning because they're building infrastructure. They're winning because they're guaranteeing housing for people. They're winning because they're focused on actual measurable improvements. They're winning because they're focused on protecting the environment and stopping desertification and building renewable energy and stopping the growth of coal power. They're winning because they're focusing on electrifying their transport network so they don't have to use fossil fuels anymore. They're winning because they are investing in the technologies of the future. That's why they're winning. They're not winning because they are doing nothing. They're winning because they're working their ass off. It's like saying somebody goes to the gym 5 times a week, is doing nothing, and then getting stronger. No, they're working their fucking ass off, but it's alone in the gym. They're waking up at 5 a.m. and doing curls.
He's not in office for 6 years. There's going to be another primary in 2 years. It behooves Jeffries to inhibit Mamdani's power. It makes it much harder for him to do so in this environment. That's all it is. There's no guarantee.
What's the difference between Scandinavia's relationship with capitalism and China's relationship with capitalism? Do you feel like China's doing a better job at keeping the forces of capital at bay? I will show you a picture to answer your question. Let me read the AI summary because it's funny. I searched capitalist sentenced to death for bribery China. And the AI was like, in recent news, several high-profile individuals in China's financial and government sectors have received death sentences for bribery and corruption. They abused public power for personal gain. Sentences top banker to death for corruption. China gives suspended death sentence to former top banker. China sentences ex-finance chief to death on corruption. Former agricultural minister for death. That's the difference between the Chinese control of the capitalist class and the Swedish difference.
Guarantees here. But it's just a question of it's a bet. It's probability.
You can build power and move them out later. Like it's like this idea you have to open up every front of a war at the earliest given moment. And
also neoliberalism has destroyed the social democratic parties in Scandinavia. They all suck now. The social democratic parties of the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s don't exist anymore in Scandinavia. They're all neoliberal shithole parties now. They suck shit. So it's like the difference between the Democratic Party under FDR and the difference of the Democratic Party under Bill Clinton. They've had the same exact kind of right-wing slide.
I'm glad.
And the Labor Party's the same.
In DSA, New York DSA didn't vote that way.
Well, they didn't vote that way because Zoran campaigned so hard against them. But you know what I mean? It's one thing to be like, oh, the Social Democrats didn't vote that way when it's the DSA didn't vote that way. And it's like, well, that's because Zoran came out and was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Well, if he come in there and been like, if AOC and Zoran had gone to the DSA endorsement meeting and they had ripped their shirts off and they would say, death to the centrist, and they had gone up there with fucking, guitars and just done a metal riff going, we're going to cut their heads off. They would have 100% of the vote. Okay? Let's be honest. Okay? Come on.
Nurse the grievance, I guess.
Let's go to a 606 area code. Who's this?
By the way, I don't think the people that are angry about this are wrong. I just think you need to learn to be a patient, educated person and go, this is a key point of maturity, which I want to encourage people. You need to leave space to disagree. If I'm not the biggest fan of Atrioc and you think Atrioc is not as bad as I think, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that you need to hate my guts. You're allowed to be like, I'm going to prove that to Mike that Atrioc isn't a shill for the Democratic Party centrist who's only about making money from the algorithm. I'm going to show you how he really is, trying to find out the truth. And I'm going to say what I just said is that's not the case. We could agree to disagree, and then we'll see. And if it turns out that Atrioc is like, oh, Gavin Newsom is an incompetent boob and will be a terrible choice, I'm supporting AOC, then I'll bring Atrioc into the fold and let bygones be bygones, But if he is what I think he is, which is he's trying to be Destiny but nice, well, then he's not going to do that. He's going to take the money from the DNC. He's going to take the money from Gavin Newsom, and he's going to try to use it to boost his own fucking profile, along with every other centrist, worthless, sellout scumbag that exists on every platform.
Where are you calling from?
It's absurd to boil it down to like NSC, NYC, DSA electoral working group participants are all just drones. That's not what I said. What I said is the people that were against it and in favor of what Zoran said are making the same calculation that Zoran is making. However, if Zoran was saying we're going against if he had made a different calculation, he would have persuaded them all, because they would have said we're behind Zoran, and Zoran says this is the play. Let's make the play. Like if Zoran was out there campaigning to say that DSA should primary Hakeem Jeffries, there's not going to be a bunch of DSA people saying no to that. And if you don't agree with that, you're crazy. And the left, the people that were anti the primary were anti OSE. They were not anti-primary. Okay? The Emerge people, the Mug people, they were anti-OSE because they think he's an opportunist. They weren't anti-primary. That's a different argument. Whereas the right-wingers were against the primary because they wanted to have a deal with Jeffries.
Hear me? This is Noah from Lexington, Kentucky.
Noah from Lexington, Kentucky. What's on your mind?
Well, so I just wanted to call in. I'm hearing a lot of DSA talk. I'm the co-chair of the new...
Also, when I say 100% of people would do something, you understand that is hyperbolic exaggeration to make a point and make it comedic and like paint a picture of everybody going like, we got to take over Hakeem Jeffries, rah! Like that is the point is the comedy of it, not there's not going to be a single nerd that votes no. There's always going to be a single nerd that votes no, okay? I'm not saying literal unanimous. I'm sure there will be 10 people in there going, actually, it's not an immediate social revolution, so I vote no. Like, yes, they're going to be those people. I'm talking about going from roughly 50-50 to, 85% in favor. That's the difference. Is if you got the socialist majority people and the, to flop, that would have been 30%. And so it would have passed with like 70-80%. It's dumb to let a primary slip by. Don't like OSE, find someone else, but they didn't have anyone. They didn't have anyone. That's the point. That's the point. And I also think people can get better. People can make mistakes in the past. People can make mistakes in the past to be kind of shitty in the past and be better now. That also reminds me, we're 4 hours into the stream and I never shilled. God damn it. I forgot to fucking shill. God damn it. Chat, it is the end of the year, which means the end of the month and the end of the year, meaning all the money you give me right now is going to get paid to me in January. Fuck. Well, it's a new taxable year, chat. So all the money you give me now will be completely tax-free because I will be making less than... You're a terrible capitalist? So true. That's actually true. The reason why I'm a terrible capitalist is because I'm not greedy. I don't just want number to go up for number to go up. I think of like, am I hitting a goal? And then I'm like, okay, goal hit. I can stop thinking about money now. I want to think about other things. Some people have a lot of people are trained to just fixate on money 100% of the time and never stop. No matter how much money they have, they never stop. Whereas me, I'm like, okay, what's my monthly nut? What do I need to survive? What do I need to hit my savings goals? What do I need to like pay down my debts? What do I need to have a dignified life where I could do the things I want to do? Your monthly what? Oh, it's an old hustler term. The nut is the fixed expenses you have to live. That's your monthly nut. So like your rent, your phone bill, your car insurance bill, your health insurance bill, that's your monthly nut. It's a squirrel analogy. Exactly. You didn't see that South Park from this season? I don't watch South Park. I did when I was in 8th grade, but now I don't. I think when I was in 8th grade, I was on the same maturity level as the creators of South Park. Now that I'm an adult man, I don't watch it anymore. Anyway, chat, if you enjoy the content, please consider supporting it by subscribing. We have a hype train right now. The top sub gifter and the top bit donor get the hype train conductor badge, which is a golden locomotive next to your name. Chat, China has passed 50,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. To commemorate China having passed 50,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, I'm going to gift 13 subs in order to take the hype train conductor badge because I don't have a hype train conductor badge in my own channel. And none of you would take that away from me, would you? All right, hold on. I have to like open my channel in the like normal way. Oh God, this is so annoying. And gift subs are 35% off for only 3 more days. 13, which is $50. You can give 13 subs for $50 right now. Look at that. Look at that. None of the chatters would gift more than 13 subs and take it away from me. Now, would they? None of the I'm an adult man proceeds to talk about Hype Trade Conductor match. Okay, first of all, motherfucker, that is a prestigious social currency. And it's a prestigious social currency with the most important person in this room right now. Me! If I see a conductor badge next to your name, I think that's a cool person. I'm not going to ban that person. When they tell me how cool Atrioc is, instead of me clicking ban, oh, god damn it. Bleep bloops. You gave 50 subs. I don't want to give money to Jeff Bezos. More flex. Thank you for the 10. You could just gift more. Oh, can I just gift more? Can I just gift more? Can I just gift more? Am I allowed to give more? Oh, see, the difference is when you guys are giving me subs, you're at least paying me. When I give subs, I'm basically paying Jeff double. Because to have that money to gift subs, I had to have received it from previous sub gifts. You get what I mean? So when I'm buying subs, I'm paying the 30% whatever to Jeff. So it's like I paid him double money. So whenever I give subs, it sucks shit. I'm basically giving my boss my money back, which is just not great. Plus taxes. Well, I could expense the gift as a promotional gift sub. You know what I mean? So I could deduct it for being promotional expenses. Think of all the GDP you're increasing. Unironically, I am though. W scam. It's not a scam. It's the truth. When you give subs, you're doing an Nvidia. Exactly. Tax evasion for the win. First of all, I gotta say this. If you own student loans, you're getting fucked. I have to pay self-employment tax and I have student loans. I'm getting double fucked, okay? So don't, anything I can do to reduce my taxes, I'm gonna fucking do. And I'm gonna do it without shame. Because what's the government gonna pay for? Bombing Venezuela? Fuck this shit. Still got student loans? What the fuck? Yes, of course. I did go to school when interest rates were very low. So my interest rates are typically pretty low. Although I'm going to do a review and I'm gonna probably pay off the highest. I think I have a couple that are at 6% that I should just pay off. But they were from like undergrad and, you know, whatever. It's fine. Are you going to do 2026 predictions? That's actually a good idea. We should do that. We've still got a couple more days in the year. So let me think about that. I'm in the EU. It's shocking to me. You don't understand that my public university law degree costs $150,000, right? You didn't get Biden debt forgiveness? Why the fuck would I get Biden debt forgiveness? First of all, I probably made too much money in the year that he did that. And it's not like I made like way more money. No, it's like I barely made enough money. It's like I made just enough to not be able to get whatever forgiveness he gave out. I think I might have gotten 10. Did we get 10K? I don't remember. Did the courts block it? I keep going. I can't remember. What exactly happened? Listen, I put it on auto pay and I pay it. And I do the full repayment. I don't do any kind of, I'm trying to pay it off. I'm not, it was blocked. I was going to be debt free. Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I thought. He was able to get a few billion forgiven through executive order. He could have forgiven it all, by the way. My account is in forbearance until 2028. That's terrible. You should get out of that. That just means they're compounding interest against you and adding it to the principal. It's fucking terrible. I had to do that too, and that was bad. I probably added like 5K or more to my principal from doing that, which is dog shit. The first attempt was blocked. A second attempt went through. So many mistaken chatters. We have to go back and look. I've now forgotten. I got my student debt forgiven as they were over 20 years old, and I've gotten no creditors to reach out since then. Based.
Bluegrass DSA that's out of Central Kentucky.
Nice.
And it's been kind of a dark time in general. Thank you very much. I feel so honored. But yeah, it's been a very dark time in general, but we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, and we just crossed 200 dues paying members in Central Kentucky. Yeah, it's been fantastic. I'm originally from Eastern Kentucky, from Jackson, where JD Vance pretends like he's from. And so, you know, I think there's kind of a stereotype about what organizing can look like in a place like Kentucky, and it's just been fantastic for us. I mean,
Genuine question. What would happen if you don't pay your student loans and left the U.S.? The answer is that there's a international legal concept known as comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y. So the United States of America would sue you for not paying your student loans and defaulting, and then they would get a judgment against you. And it would be entered in American courts as a requirement to pay a money, and then they would bring that to wherever country you're in. And if they had a relationship with U.S. courts, they would fucking, this is something they could do. I don't know that they're actually doing it, and they could like force whatever assets you have in the U.S. they could take. Number one, assume you had no assets. That question would be whether the country you're living in accepts American student loan debt as like conscionable to be enforced against you.
I'm going to brag on my comrades here a little bit. So yeah, just crossed 200 dues paying members. Most of our general meetings are getting 50 to 70 people. And we're running our first electoral candidate. So that'll be Herbert Lynn for at-large city council in Lexington. Raised a couple $1,000s or $5,000 in food and money during the SNAP cuts for different food banks around town. And then we're doing a big push with local unions like SBWU and AFT and fighting the expansion of these AI flock cameras in our town. So there's my my spiel. But yeah, it has been fantastic. It's one of the things I'm most proud to be a part of in my entire life.
Okay, well, we've got your Instagram up right now. It's Bluegrass DSA.
You got it.
And just hit the link tree too there. Let's see what you got on your link tree. The December library run, Bluegrass DSA T-shirt sign up. Is there a donation page for that candidate you're running?
So we are getting that set up literally this week. So yeah, follow us on Instagram.
Oh, by the way, chat, in the new year, we're going to be, I've started to look at a few candidates that have reached out to me. And if you're one of those people, keep reaching out. The thing is that you have to understand is that I am a Twitch streamer, which means that if I don't respond, it doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means that a lot of random people have also sent me messages and I forgot. So I need you to understand that when you're a Twitch streamer, you get a lot of people that message you all the time. And it's not that I don't care. I do. I'm just not. I'm also a bad texter. So when you combine the two, you gotta understand that you're gonna be left unread some of the time. So just bump me again. You really need a manager. I honestly should get a manager. I feel like I might set a goal and like hire a manager. Like I might open a Patreon to get a manager. Like I literally might do that. It's like Mike hiring a manager on the Patreon. It's like if I get 500 Patreons, I will hire a manager. Get a noise gate. Don't I have one? Pretty sure I have a noise gate. What I need is a new chair. Oh my God, that's what I should have asked for Christmas is a chair. Fuck. I'll have to buy myself a chair. Steel case refurbished. I'm telling you, get on it. Okay, Will.
And we will have all that up. Our website is also dsabluegrass.org. That has all of our events. So
thank you everybody for all the sub gifts, by the way. I didn't thank everybody. Anonymous, Nonstop, Otterpop, More Flex, Beep Bloops. This guy named Central Committee, he sees really cool. Everybody bend the knee to Central Committee. Dutch, thank you for the 5. The Anti-Corporatist, thank you for the 5. You guys are the best. Okay, chat. We are at 6,662 subs. Come on, man. Come on. Can someone give 4 subs so we can be at 6666? 6666. There we go. Okay, that's the number of 6s.
To be local to the area, please come out. They're all open to the public, and we'll have everything up there.
Back.
And so, how far away do you like? You got 200 dues-paying members. How far away? What's the furthest sort of geographical distance that people are going for a Lexington chapter?
Yeah, so the chapter is Bluegrass, so it covers Frankfort, which is the capital of Kentucky, as well as Lexington and kind of all the towns in between. But we have comrades because, much to my chagrin, there's not an Eastern Kentucky DSA yet. We're actually helping one start up right now. But we have comrades that are coming all the way out from Richmond, Kentucky. And then there's obviously a very big active chapter in Louisville. So they handle a lot of the area there. And then we have an Owensboro chapter that's opening up. So we're trying to stay very involved with getting more chapters opened up and getting people fighting back in Kentucky.
Yeah, Colin, what's the vibe like? I talked with Mo Hartzell out in Missouri, also the Afton Ben race, both of which I would describe as sort of like a socialist-friendly progressives. What is the general vibe like? You talk about the dark times, but it does seem like there's a little bit of momentum growing.
Absolutely. I mean, in a place like Lexington, right, like this is a rich white liberal city, right? And so I think a lot of people would expect that to have there are benefits and there are big cons, right? So we've been very lucky to have people that have been able to come into the chapter, and it's been fantastic. But we also do get pushback from some of the what I would call more liberalizing forces in the town, some of the nonprofits. We're trying to work with as many people as we can to make Central Kentucky a better place to live for people in the working class. So there's kind of that push and pull between what I would say people that are very focused on the way that their politics look versus actual economic changes that will, help everyday people.
Appreciate the call. Good luck. And we'll put a link to we'll put a link to the website. People can find your Instagram after that.
I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Left is best.
Thanks for the call.
Alrighty.
Good stuff. Lavender allergy. I think the WFP also deserves credit for organizing the primary field to cross endorsement against Cuomo so effectively. Yeah, I think so. The WFP has endorsed Brad Lander in his race against Dan Goldman. I wanted to read this. I thought this was really impressive. Yulin New, she came in second to Goldman in 2022. 2022. There was a crowded race, and even then she came in, it wasn't very far, like less than 2 points, I think it was. And she put this out because a lot of people wanted her to run again this time against Dan Goldman. I've got it here. 3 years ago, and maybe she put this on her Twitter, I think. 3 years ago, our rising progressive movement came within 1.6% of victory in New York's 10th. We built a powerful grassroots movement that energized thousands of voters who are hungry for real progressive change on housing, healthcare, climate justice, and economic equality.
I think they should run Summerlee. Or what's the other guy in Pittsburgh? He's all right. What's the other Pittsburgh rep? He's kind of left wing. He's decent. Fuck, what's his name? So is it Deluzio? Is it Deluzio? Isn't he on Medicare for All? How bad is Deluzio? Is he an AIPAC guy? I always remember him being decent, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, okay. He co-sponsored Medicare for All Act. He did want to give cluster munitions to Ukraine, which is weird. He voted in favor of providing support to Israel following Hamas-led attack on October 7th. That's not great. I don't know. Did he call it a genocide? Probably not. I remember him being like kind of progressive-y. Is he in the progressive caucus? Yeah, see, he's in the progressive caucus. He's like Pennsylvania's Ro Khanna. Probably the best way to put it. He's very pro-union. Check your sub number. Oh, fuck. God damn it, chat. God damn it, chat. My sub number is 6667. This may actually be the most demonic number. This may actually be the most demonic number. It's like the number that's most likely to put people into a state of pure annoying bullshit. 6667. Oh, fuck. Because it makes millennials and alpha and Gen Z be annoying as fuck. This is how you make every generation annoying at once. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, Deluzio. Oh, no. Deluzio. Oh, no. Bro. Did he say anything about Deluzio on genocide? What did he say about it? Okay, he's not on the recognizing the genocide of the Palestinian people of Gaza bill. There's 21 co-sponsors. The recognizing the Palestinian genocide act has... These are usually the people that are cool. If they're on this, they're a real one. Deluzio, Moulton, Houlihan, Ryan, Panetta, Vindman urged Israel to expand humanitarian aid to Gaza. Yeah, see, this is like the progressive but not Palestine shit. It's like they're trying to be like, we like Israel, but Israel is being bad. It's liberal Zionism. This was the liberal Zionism move. It's just not Viable. Palestine vote tracker. Oh, thank you. Join DSA chat. How bad is he on it? He's got a 20s. He's 27. Oh my God. So he's like worse than the average Democrat on Palestine. If you look at the the Palestine score, Rashida Tlaib got 97. Okay, what bill are you saying that she didn't vote for that she should have voted for? Oh, what? Rashida Tlaib voted. She voted present. Is that it? The one that condemned the attack in Boulder? You're marking her down for that? Was it unanimous? Did anyone vote no? Come on, man. Come on, man. When a bill is basically unanimous, come on, and they vote present, don't mark down. That's crazy. Sanction the ICC for Netanyahu warrant. He was obviously a no on that. She voted present on a bill condemning Hamas for sexual violence, which was unanimous. Like Rashida Tlaib, come on. Ilhan Omar. So that's what I mean. Like having these bills be scored so high is like, that's crazy. When there's only 2 people that get an A, that's crazy. Like come on. What is this Google sheet? It's all the votes on Palestine and people's various rankings. It's why, you know, the AOC is the 5th highest score on the Palestine tracker of Congress. There's 435 representatives and AOC is 5th. The only people better are Delia Ramirez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Summer Lee. Delia, we need to get Delia on the stream. Hassan already like jacked me from Summer Lee. So Delia is fucking cool. I love her. So we need to get Delia on. We need to get Summer on. I need to like email her back. AOC is mad at me because I yelled at her for her dumb Iron Dome vote. I didn't realize that Ayanna Pressley was so high. I'm surprised. I thought she would be lower. God. Look at all the Democrats with Fs. Why are there so many Zios in New York? George Latimer, 0%. Get this fucker out of office. That's a Democrat, man. Josh Gottheimer. We got to get these Democrats. Like Wesley Bell. That's who replaced Cori Bush, by the way. Replaced Cori Bush. Replaced Jamal Bowman. Man, guys, I think that was really bad to go from somebody who was at the very top of all of Congress to somebody who's at the bottom. You know, as going from like an 80% to a 0, that seems pretty bad. I don't know. So you mean we should have protested Jamal? I think we should have spent our efforts trying to re-elect Jamal. Yes. I think Jamal Bowman was losing him to George Latimer was terrible. Josh Gottheimer's got to go. Get him the fuck out. Wesley Bell's. Jared Golden, fuck you. Primary this piece of shit. Oh, Jared is going to go. I think they're going to primary Jared. I'm going through Jared Moskowitz. This guy is a Zionist worm. Oh, ugh. Oh my God. Louis Frankel. Thomas Guzzi needs to go as well. Get this fucker guy. There's so many people that we need to get the fuck out. I hate Susie Lee so much. I fucking despise Susie Lee. Get her out. There's so Gil Cisneros, what a piece of trash. Jesus Christ. Get him out. Steny Hoyer, get him out. Brendan Boyle, what a fucking piece of shit. God, I hate this fucker. Jesus Christ, Brendan Boyle, oh my God. Philadelphia DSA, what are we doing? Philadelphia DSA, what are we doing? There's no reason Brennan should be in office at this point. Who really sucks? Who do Eric Swalwell, fuck you. Chrissy Houlihan, fuck you. Hakeem Jeffries. Seth Moulton, get him out of office. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe Majority Report was spending time yesterday shit talking one of the best senators on Palestine for Seth Moulton. That was fucking crazy. There's Ed Markey right there. The 8th best senator on Palestine. They gave Bernie Sanders a 100%. It's like, why are we wasting our time talking about Ed Markey? Like, it's actually embarrassing to go after Ed Markey for Seth Moulton and try to make it a generational thing when Seth Moulton is significantly to the right of Ed Markey. Keep Ed Markey in there for as long as he wants. Like, what the fuck are we doing? My rep is ranked 46. That's actually good. That's actually good. That means your rep is like actually a human being who you could talk to about Palestine and they're not a fucking racist. If the person has like, if they're not getting an F, your rep is probably one of the least, like probably one of the most pro-Palestinian people in politics. Literally. Ed Markey is also older than the Zionist entity. Yeah, that's good. He could say, fuck you, I'm older than your shitty settler colonial state. Oh, wow, chat. Time flew today, huh? Link, I'd like to check my rep. Sure. My rep is 20th. Call her up. Call up your rep. If they're on this list and they have like any kind of score, call them up and say, I support you because of your position on Palestine. You should literally do that. If they're like getting a C or something, you should call them and be like, thank you for standing up for Palestine. And then call them and be like, why aren't you a sponsor on the Recognizing the Nakba bill? Can you get on that? And Palestinian refugee rights? Can you get on that bill? I just posted the link in chat. All right. Anyway, chat. Well, time flew. Thank you so much for all the support. It was fun. Happy Monday, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff I didn't get to, but I appreciate you. Let me see here. Who's live today? Oh, okay. Vio's live. I'm going to send you guys, gals, non-binary pals over to Vio. Vio's gaming. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. I feel like we're getting smarter in the chat. The chat is like, I gotta say, like, we've managed to keep most of our growth from the Ethan Klein drama and from the election, and the quality of the chat. You guys, you just keep getting smarter, and I love to see it, you know? So thank you guys for showing up. We're going to be doing so much more cool stuff this upcoming year, and politically, we're going to get even more involved. Thank you so much for contributing to Fran and her stream yesterday. I think we hit our goal. I will be talking about that more tomorrow while everybody's here. You will be educated. All right. Thank you, chat. I appreciate you. Mwah. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Solidarity forever, my friends. And socialism will win. From the river to the sea, free Palestine.